Welcome one, welcome all, welcome to another exciting stream here. I am Bridger, and today we're jumping into Humankind, Amplitude's latest historical strategy game. Now, I'm going to tell you right up front, somebody's probably looking for the down low. Is this thing worth picking up right now? That's a maybe. It's got some good bones. It's got a lot of balance problems, and the AI is pretty horrendous. It's pretty much what you would expect from any 4X release. They're all released before they're ready because 4X games take an incredibly long time to make well. So, like most 4X games, expect this to get better as the expansions come out and they basically finish the game. There are parts of it that definitely feel very unfinished. The late game, of course, feels unfinished because it's the hardest part to playtest. It takes the longest amount of time. Just imagine, I tweaked some of the way that science scales at the late game. Mark, can you go play through like 12 games and see if that scaling feels correct? Yeah, no problem. I'll see you in 2 weeks, right? Like, that's the thing. You can't just jump into the late game partway through and see how it all works, because the scaling that you changed, I mean, yes, if you're only making changes to the late game, then yes, you can test that. But the changes that you make to the earlier part of the game drastically affect the late game as well, because most of these games are very snowbally. This one is definitely super snowbally. But let's jump into it. Just going to show this off for people that don't actually have it, that want to see. By the way, vertical sync seems necessary in this game. There's a lot of tearing if you don't have vertical sync turned on. By default, at least when I loaded it up, it turned on the FPS lock and you couldn't use vertical sync if that's the case. So turn the FPS lock on and turn vertical sync on. That's better than the other way around. Audio options pretty good. Gameplay options, this is pretty important. I always increase my battle animation speed when I load this on. Both times I've installed it basically, but the battle animations are pretty slow, and honestly I could probably put them up to 2. I'm going to leave them at 1.5 for now so that you can see more about what's going on. I do like this option. You can have the Gregorian or the Holocene calendar, which is basically like, instead of being in the year 2021, we'd be in 12,021, with basically the year 0 being when agriculture first became a thing in human civilization, which is an interesting way to measure it, for sure. I gotta see the chat. There we go. So, edge panning speed. This actually doesn't seem to do anything at all, which is really weird. Everybody pointed out that the WASD and the edge scrolling along the map, incredibly slow. It seems like, for whatever reason, it's set to like almost nothing, and this bar doesn't actually change it. So there's that. UI options. I haven't really touched anything here. In fact, I'm turning off the subtitles. I don't like subtitles in most things because it distracts my eyes always. As soon as the subtitle shows up, I'm looking at the subtitle and reading instead of listening to the voice acting. If the voice acting is good, I want to hear it. I don't want to read ahead. That's just how it tends to work with me. So I turn the subtitles off. Interface size. I haven't had to adjust this. I work on 1440p monitor. It works pretty fine. This seems fine. I haven't messed with any of these at the moment. I do like that there's a decent number of adjustments you can make to the... There are some things that appear to be missing. I'll probably remember them as we go. But, oh, you know what? It's the... There's no button to, like, move your units, but luckily, like, the end turn button will do that for you. So there's that. Okay, so let's go ahead and start a new game. Unfortunately, here's one of... We've already arrived at some of the failings of this game. You cannot easily choose your opponents, nor can you pick random. So you can't just be like, oh, I want to randomize my opponents. And for the purposes of, let's take a look at the competitor. Oh, you can't actually look at them, huh? Oh, there we can. Okay, so you can see that AIs have different personalities. This one tends to be risk-taking. They engage all their resources, even if it might create holes in their defenses, and they favor the use of military power to reach their goals. Then they have Pillager, where these are basically some cheats for the AI. They gain more money for ransacking, and they get bonus industry when they clear forests. And so this is like a tendency. This is their AI behavior. These are just blatant cheats that they get right here. And I think this AI is here because I don't think there's oh, there are normals versus not. That's interesting. So there's difficulty levels of the personas based on, you know, how much of these kind of bonuses that they get. And you can actually change. So what's very interesting, and I like the idea, is you can set up your own avatar as an AI that your friends can play against, which is a very interesting concept. I like that a lot. The thing is, what determines whether it's advanced, like, or not, how strong your AI is basically the cheats that you're giving it, right? So because I gave it this +1 combat strength to all units, I don't know what on tile means. Are there units that float above the tiles? No. That makes it like a harder AI because you're giving it cheats, right? Oh, it's 10% attachment cost reduction. Like, you can only give it so much, it seems like, because you can only have like 2 slots for strengths. But, you know, I'm making that these like cheats on there, and then the biases also cost points. I don't know. These just seem to be behaviors, so I don't know why those would make it harder or not. But anyway, so the archetypes aren't theoretically things that make the AI harder. But the problem, some of the problem, how bad's the scaling? How soon the game is over because you scale gold? Probably by late early modern or early industrial. It seems to be that a lot of people have just completely broken the scaling of the resources. They're just, the resource inflation is out of fucking control. And I find that to be one of the worst problems with the game. In Ancient and Classical, it feels pretty good. In Medieval, it's still okay, but it starts to fall off the rails a little bit, especially if you get very specific combinations of cultures and things. But it can still feel pretty good up through the early modern era, which is really just the Renaissance era, but I don't know why they renamed it to early modern, because that confuses me. Anyway, so you can't really easily say, I want to play against a hard AI, I want to play against an easy AI. Like, there is a difficulty setting, and this determines what main cheats the AI gets, right? I think at Metropolis and lower, the AI doesn't cheat, and it's so dumb, it's a pushover. The default, by the way, is Town. When you first load up the game, if you choose the middle difficulty option for the tutorial game that it forces you into, you'll play at Town, which is a joke for anybody that's played these strategy games before. If you're brand new to strategy games, by all means, play on the easier difficulty settings. That's what they're there for. But if you've played Civilization before, or even other Amplitude games, you're definitely going to want to start on at least Metropolis. I started on Nation, and I kind of blew the AI away. So we're going to play on Empire, because this one, I've noticed the AI can actually keep up and get ahead of me in fame. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, for the competitors, there's no way to randomize it, and the competitors seem to have preferred civilizations based on their various biases that they have here. So if you play with the same competitors every time, the AI is always going to choose the same cultures, and it gets very samey. But there's no way to easily randomize it. Hello, Tenedir. What was your guide focused on? Just a guide in general? He said he wrote a guide on Steam. So there's no way to randomize this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick some numbers. I'm going to say, okay, 1 through 6. Let's go with 2. 1, 2. And then we're going to pick 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this one we're going to pick 3. 1, 2, 3. Here's a 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3. There we go. I've successfully pseudo-randomized my opponents. We're going to play on a large map, which is designed for 8 players. There's a couple of predetermined setups here. So Pangea changes all these settings to make it more like a Pangea. You can do a large Pangea. Few continents is the one I like to play on. I also like to play with a new world on it. Like, if you choose 2 continents, it always creates a new world. But for some reason, few continents doesn't always trigger to new world. Anyway, few continents, I'm going to go with 60% land. Just because when you enable the new world, it shoves all of the civs onto fewer of these continents. And the game seems to assume that you don't have the new world checked almost. Anyway, let me see here. 1990 WW wants to know if you will wait for a few patches until they fix scaling and add bugs. Like, yeah, I didn't mention that the late game is also really harmed because there is a dearth of strategic resources. Like, there will be, people have posted games where there is an entire map with no oil, or an entire map with 2 aluminum, or an entire map with 1 oil. It's like, yes, I know that resources are things that are designed to have wars fought over them, but when there's 8 competitors and 1 oil, only one side can afford to fight. it's really broken, and that's just very disappointing. Anyway, we're gonna leave the rest of this on for the most part. This means you can actually determine if you want to play in just like the northern hemisphere of the map and have the northern hemisphere be cold and the middle be warm like the equator, which is an interesting concept. I don't know that I'd necessarily want that, but it allows you to kind of feel like you're zooming into a smaller portion of the world, which might be nice because the scaling of the cities on the map board do feel really bonkers. Like, and I've said this during the previews that they had going, is it feels absolutely stupid because it feels like these cities are the size of like all of England by the time you get to the classical era. England isn't even covered in an entire urban sprawl right now. Like, the area around London that's like, what, 10 square miles of urbanization? But this game, you can have cities that look on the map like they're hundreds of square miles, and the walls that go around them are thousands of miles long. It's absolutely bonkers. One other change I make is, I'm trying this out actually. Somebody suggested, and I think I agree, there are too many cliffs when you play on average. It feels like the getting around the map is too bottlenecked. I really do like the bottleneck and the Z-axis on the map on this, but I'm going to try it with fewer cliffs and ridges than otherwise. It looks a little weird when that's the case. And so we're going to see what it hopefully on few, there's still enough to keep the map interesting, but not so much that like everywhere you go is ridges and stuff. Okay, so we're going to play on Empire. Not going to select peaceful mode. That's dumb. I've heard people talk about playing on Civilization, but it just seems like the game cheats so much on that level. It's super hard to keep up with them. The cliffs are awesome, and I like that they exist. I think the cliffs combined with the mountains make it very difficult to move around the map sometimes, and that's why I'm giving it a shot with the fewer cliffs. Doesn't need a lot less. Just needs to be scaled back like 10-20% on the cliffs, and I'd be happy. I can't wait for the mod tools because there's so many things I want to fix in this game, and I'm strongly considering, as long as I can figure out the mod tools, and they claim you should be able to do it without even coding, and I could have done like XML adjustments and things like that. I've made mods in Hoi 4, but
our universe contains infinite stories, most of which are about rocks and ice at sub-zero temperatures.
I like the tone in this game.
Rather boring. However, on a small damp rock, there is a story that bears a second look. It's your story. But the first 4 billion years or so mostly concern amino acids. Not much of a page turner. But then, over time, the amino acids bond together, and things start to get interesting. And a bit drier. A certain subspecies of hominid discovers that you can do more with a sharp rock than annoy your little brother. Tools and weapons are invented. The hominids begin to cooperate. Fire becomes a servant rather than an unpredictable force of nature. They learn to tan the skins of animals for clothing. They learn ways to record and probably exaggerate their adventures. Eventually, these tribes learn to build shelters and immediately hold the first barbecue parties. This is the dawn of humankind.
Hold barbecue parties.
Struggle and cooperation have been rewarded. The Neolithic era draws to a close. The whole world...
Amplitude has always been freaking phenomenal at creating these very, like,
your story. You are the
perfect,
one who will build them
evocative intros that really suck you into what you're about to work with.
Will you push humankind?
I loved all the very different faction intros.
The race begins. A new world.
In Endless Space 2.
Untold possibilities. There is so much to see, to do,
so,
to learn.
A couple of things that have been said in the chat here. 1990 says, I would honestly change that you can build as many districts as you wish as long as you have support for it. In the first beta, the Lucy Open Dev, there actually was a number in the city that said, like, district limit. And they took that out for some reason. And they limited districts instead based on the stability. However, they added in so many ways to get stability, it's just a joke, in a sense. Like, the luxury resources are so easy to just buy from everybody else because you have infinite money, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and the other one is Kusi Rules says that I thought 2021 evolution was taboo. Only in America. This is made by Frenchmen. They know that, at least the vast majority of them seem to know that evolution's a real thing. Tenadir says that on Empire he won at 20k fame while the AIs were at less than 10. That might be the case, and maybe that'll wind up being what I'm doing here. I just know that the few times that I did try out an Empire game, I haven't really gotten past the early modern yet, because I keep restarting to explore the early game mechanics more, because I enjoy those a lot more, generally speaking. But, and the cloud saves weren't working for a while, so when I went back and forth to work, I had to start a new game each damn time. But anyway, point is, I don't know how I'm going to do on Empire. I don't like to min-max stuff, and I know that that's one of the ways that you can break the game. So here, if you haven't played this, if you haven't known anything about it, it's freaking amazing. They basically took what was called like the minor Civ start in the first, in Civ 4, and expanded it. So you have this nothing but a tribe, and you can't settle down and start cities yet. You have to explore the map for a while. So looking here, we've got a map with a lot of food and even a little bit of production on these coasts here, but they're not ideal. You'd like to have any given set of either food or industry in a triangle because of the way that, or a diamond. If you can get a diamond, that's good too, because of the way that the adjacency bonuses work for the districts. I definitely agree with you, though. I would definitely want the districts to be less districts throughout the entire game. Fewer districts early, fewer districts late. Okay, we still got some cliffs here. So here's the skinny on this Neolithic era. You can claim territory with an outpost, but the outpost is not a city. It doesn't build anything yet. But you cannot found cities or advance yet and choose cultures until you get at least one era star. And in the Neolithic, there are 3 you can get: the Growth Star, the Knowledge Star, or the Hunter Star. The thing about these, and I like the idea, but the Hunter Star and the Growth Star are basically one and the same almost, because every time you hunt things, you get food, which gives you population. So it's a little weird. They all, like, if you just go for the Hunter Star, you'll almost always get the Growth Star too. The thing that's a little different is the Knowledge Star almost always seems to take longer to get than one of the other ones. I suppose you get the Growth Star if you drop down a very early outpost and it gets some of those events that give it bonuses to food, because then you can grow pops other than just hunting and stuff. But so you have to get one of these in order to advance. If you get, and you don't have to advance when you get one, you can stick around and try to get more, but the only one that's worth sticking around to get is the Knowledge Star, because if you get the Knowledge Star, you get a special Neolithic trait, which can be very useful in the first 2 eras or so. I guess it technically is worthwhile further on, but it becomes less and less valuable over time. There is a bug, however, in the current version of the game where no matter what game speed you're playing on, you always need 10 science in order to unlock the Neolithic Legacy trait, even though the Knowledge Star is at 15. I'm sure they'll fix that eventually, but it's supposed to scale with the game speed. At normal game speed, and here's another problem I have with the game, the default game speed assumes the game will take 300 turns or less, which is not enough for all of human history. If you wanted to stop at, like, pre-gunpowder era, 300 turns would be perfect. No problem with that. But if you want to include the last 2 ages, you have to pump that up. It's just not enough time. The eras will fly by, and it will not feel like you get to sit in them and actually use the things that you get from them. Anyway, we got a spammer in the chat, which we will kick and ban. Boom. There we go. Okay, so you got to get one of these to advance, and you wander around until you get one of them. So here's some science, and this, all the ones that have the science symbol also give you influence, which is necessary to place down your first outpost.
Something very clever.
So we found a curiosity, an ancient encampment, which provide us a little bit of knowledge and some influence. Influence in this era, really kind of like, not a joke, but like confusing. It doesn't seem to apply at all. Now, we need 8 influence at this game speed. I would like to put down an outpost, like, right about here. I could put it here, actually. This would kind of be perfect. But I can't, because I don't have the correct amount of influence yet. At this game speed, I need 8 instead of 5. which, again, it slows things down exactly like it's supposed to. Another difference between this and Civilization, but it's very consistent with all the other Amplitude games, is these are all simultaneous turns. This is a turn-based game, but you take your turn the same time as anybody else, and then when you hit end turn, it just processes everything. Okay, when you hit end turn, all the cities produce their 1 turn's worth of production. They, have their food, their other blah blah blah, and then all the units get their movement points back. But watch, when I hit end turn, I can maybe attack this deer before it get a chance to move. But if I waited during my quote unquote my turn, it would have moved. So we're gonna do a manual battle and see what we can do to try to bait this deer into attacking in a bad position. So we'll start way over here. You can see the cliffs there. It's probably just going to come straight at me, but no, it's going to start way over there. All right, well, you know what? Let's just go kill it. Because if we have a pretty decent advantage against this deer. We are, what, 10 strength? The deer is 7 strength, so we'll just win. And we technically probably don't have to do this manually in the early game, because against a deer, one tribe will always survive, will always win. So we gain 5 food and 5 influence. So now here's the very interesting thing about the Neolithic, is as you gain food, when you get to 30, you get another tribe, which you can either keep together or split off and go somewhere else. And because we're hunter-gatherers, we regenerate over time no matter where we are. We don't have to be in friendly territory. So now, the other thing to know is that science thing that popped up, those will keep spawning all over the map. So I could go back in this direction. In fact, I'm going to, and see... there's food there, but we're going to skip that. We're just going to go this way. And see about putting down an outpost early, because like I said, that'll help us grow population. Oh, there's a science that spawned behind us. See there? 2 science and 5 influence. I'm going to turn off that for a second. And so it's suggesting we start a city way up here, and maybe we will eventually. That does seem like it's not a bad spot, especially because it has horses. But while I'm back here, this is actually a pretty damn good spot, despite the fact that it doesn't look good, because it's an eventually good spot. Why is that? Well, when we build districts, we can build this entire area filled with makers' quarters, and they'd all be adjacent to each other, so they'd all be providing adjacency advantages. And then we can build food in this direction, all kinds of food districts going this way. And that can be beneficial. If you ever have a border between an area that produces a lot of production and an area that produces a lot of food, that's a good place to build. Now, this is probably not going to be our starting city location, necessarily. We might just use it as just an outpost for a while. Now, you get this event often, and it just gives you a second unit to start moving around the map. And I don't know if it's always triggers on turn 5. I haven't played enough to figure it out exactly. I've seen the deer and the mammoths not always take the best hexes. They'll often take the worst hexes or charge straight at me instead of going to the better hexes. Maybe it's just the AI being bad, but I always thought it was modeling the fact that deer aren't smart. So they attack you in a weird way. So this early on, having no other tribes, I cannot see a value in reducing the cost of research by 25%. We can't even research yet. All right, so I think we're going to do this. Now this is 13.385. We got to go with 13.3. That'll at least let it grow fast. And then we can put our first maker's quarter down there. Now it's not ideal because these are only, what do they call them? Woodlands, I think? Woodlands. Forests give you 2 production. Much better. And then this is stone field instead of rocky field. So there's all kinds of things that's not perfect about this as a additional area. But it'll not be that bad. So now you can see we've created an outpost. Now it's going to take a very long time for it to actually turn into an outpost because it's got so little production. So maybe that's would have been better to be over here, but we got plenty of turns before we're going to need it to work for us. Now this army, we're going to head off in this direction looking for... Hey, a deer! Get him! Now I'm just going to instant resolve this. But before I do, I'm going to hit F5 to save it, because there's no way we should lose to this deer, and we don't. But if we did, I would call BS, and I would redo that. Because having more than one tribe early on is very valuable. It's like an exponential thing. Now this tribe can get food and grow. Do the British still get slit trenches? They do not. I don't remember what their special unit is. Is it redcoats? When is their era? The English come in the medieval era. Not the British, but the English. And they get longbowmen and a stronghold, which is like a special version of a castle. But I believe there is like a British culture as well. Not until later. Maybe the industrial era? There it is. The British get redcoats and a colonial office, to answer your question. Alright, so we're going to go get this and hope it's like 10. 5 food. 5 food's lame.
If you washed it first.
Again, I like the cheeky narrator that's like, gives you crap about everything you do. Aha, we found more food. And a sanctuary. Now, sanctuaries give you a lot of food when you destroy them. And they're also spawning points for the deer and mammoths that travel around. And I think there's probably some merit to like keeping a sanctuary around so you can farm the stuff that gets, it just doesn't seem to come out fast enough. So I'm just going to take the food from just going after it and killing it, because it's 20 food. Which is, boom, giving us a new tribe. Oh, there's a mammoth. Now with 2, we can maybe go after this mammoth. The mammoth, the thing about the mammoth is they have 13 strength and we only have 10. With 2 guys, it seems risky. If you have 2 guys and a height advantage, then you're probably fine. Oh, we found the blue hole. This is one of the things that is disappointing about the game, is all of these natural wonders basically are homogenous. They're basically all the same. If you settle a city here, it gives you stability and money and some influence. And like almost all the natural wonders are basically some small variation of that. It doesn't really feel like, oh, this wonder, you know, the old faithful geyser that's in Civ 6 is like a science wonder, and then another one is a faith wonder, and like, so they have some differences to them. But like, let's see, do they have natural wonders? Let's see what they've got here. So let's see, what does this cool desert do? 5 influence, 10 stability, 10 money. Hey, that sounds familiar. And what about Ha Long Bay? Oh, it's exactly the same. Like, that's very disappointing. They could be so much more interesting and diverse, and you could interact with them in an interesting way. But no, they don't want that. Or they just didn't have time. Like I said, a lot of this game feels like we cobbled together something because we did not have time to actually put something meaningful in.
Do it.
So we got another event, Violent Pursuits. So do we want to encourage violence in our society, which will improve the combat strength of our nomadic tribe, but will weaken the food production of this outpost once it's produced, once it's actually finished? The thing is, they don't produce food yet, and they won't for quite some time. Domestication research, see, this actually has some merit because I've got horses here, so I'm going to have some value in getting domestication early. But I'm going to try this one, the +2 combat strength on unit, because what that'll do is hopefully allow my my tribe here to go after the mammoth. And we can actually start, because we're attacking, we get to sort of have this blue area where we can distribute our forces. And one of them can be up there, and the other one can be over here. We'll see what it does. We'll end deployment. Okay, it's there. It's actually picked the worst place. That's fantastic. So you can see now that we get 12 combat strength instead of 10 because we encouraged a violent culture in our nomadic people. And we have also got +4 for high ground. That is a meaningful difference. Even +1 can be like a difference between an extra 5 damage or not. Like, the difference in combat strength is what matters. And +1 from having a friendly unit adjacent to this one. They get kind of a morale bonus for having friendlies nearby. So, because we have the high ground and because we had that +2 bonus, we basically won this before we even started. It did move to the high ground, you can see, but it picked the bad place to start with. Now, mammoths are great because they give you huge amounts of food when you win. 20 food and 20 influence. If you can kill mammoths, that's a good time. And it kind of is a reason to keep 3 tribes together if you have a lot of mammoths nearby each other that you can hunt. You're right that it didn't have the option to start there, but it could have started here. Alright, so it looks like we might have come to the end of this little continent here, so there's nothing else to look for. Now, like in Endless Legend, you can see on the map there are unique areas that have different art, right? So you can see this, berry bushes. You can obviously this is horses, but this has berry bushes. And then this is just prairie. Prairie is really good, fertile land. This is dry grass. As you can see, it's mostly brown, so it's not quite as fertile. But then you have like this, terra rosa, which literally means red earth. It's like a clay that's very valuable. And you can see that it provides some science potentially. But everything on the map only exploits, like, everything on the map can only be exploited by certain districts. And they changed it so that city centers no longer exploit all types, which I thought was really disappointing, because it's very difficult to exploit these damn science things. But anyway, if you zoom out to the mid-map level, you can see those special features, and it might help you quickly sort of zoom in. Like up here, if I'm going to start a outpost, I probably want to look at this spot right up here. It's got a waterfall, and it's got volcano earth. And the waterfall, you can see, has a ton of food compared to everything else. The river, so it's 2 for prairie, 1 for river, and 2 for waterfall, I think is how this shakes out. And then you've also got volcano earth, which adds extra fertile territory and extra production, it looks like. 2 production and 1 food. The disappointing thing is it doesn't tell you specifically what is giving you the effects of +3 food, +2 industry when you hover over this tooltip. I could go into the Civilopedia and sort of search, okay, environment, game content, natural modifiers, and then you can say, okay, clay is like, has these effects, +1 industry. If we search for, what is that one that we found? Volcano earth. If we hover over that, we can confirm +1 food, +2 industry. Yep, there you go. So anyway, that's a pretty useful part of this map mode. And you can see, oh, but damn, up here there's also 2 more. So this is a very good tile to consider. Anyway, we're going to send off one of these up here, split it off, to go look in that direction. One of the other things I really like about the way that the map interacts with the game. And we talked a little bit about this, but you can see there's z-axis, right? This is a higher elevation than this, which we saw had an effect on combat, which means the direction you attack your opponent from and the direction and the specific spot where you set up your defenders can have a big impact. If I'm fighting somebody and they set up their defenders here, I have to like walk all the way around behind them to get an even battle. And if I do that, they might attack me while I'm like halfway up. And there is a zone of control system, which means that if you walk adjacent to somebody, then you kind of lose the rest of your movement points, essentially. Or if you try to move adjacent to them and then move away from them, it like locks you in place. So you couldn't move around someone unless you were playing, I think the like light cavalry can ignore zones of control or something like that. Maybe all cavalry can. Anyway, point is, this tribe is going to come set up a very nice outpost for us, which is probably going to be our starting area here. Because look at these forests, beautiful +2s on production. And next to that, +2s and even a +3 prairie. Beautiful. Whereas over here you see, okay, this is dry grass, and it's a lot less. And then you've got Forests over here, that's actually good, but they're not in a good shape. And then you've got crappy woodland over here. In fact, this province has some really good production over here, which means, I think, we're going to have these two provinces stuck together as a single city for a long time, because you can't really exploit things on borders without easily working that to your advantage. So I think we want to start here so that we're a little closer to that other forest, just in case. In fact, this is a huge territory because it also extends all the way down here. Let's start with the +6, in fact. So we're going to do that. Up here, let's talk a little bit more about how the map impacts. Forests cost you 2 movement points to move through, and woodlands and everything else costs you 1. So forests essentially are the only terrain features that slow you down, with the exception of rivers. When you move onto a river tile, it costs all your remaining movement. When you follow a river, your movement is 1 no matter what, even if you're going through forests, which I really, really like. It means like getting onto a river stops all your movement. So if you're trying to cross a river, like go from here to here to here, it takes a long time. If you're trying to go along a river, then it doesn't take as long at all. So it's kind of Schrodinger's river too. You can be on whatever side of the river you want to be on, more or less, when you get off of it. Which makes sense. The turn that you get on it, you get on the side you want. I mean, it doesn't work perfectly, but it's still, I think, a good compromise to how you would expect a river to work. Now we can still move along here because we got 1 more movement point. One thing I think is they give a little too much movement points in this game. If you recall, in Civ 6, 3 is what scouts get and everybody else gets 2. And I think that you just take away 1 movement point from everybody. Maybe even make it scale a little better. In the early game, you only get 2 movement points a turn because, say, supply and foraging is a difficult thing compared to in like the medieval era or even the late classical where you'd have like baggage trains and things like that. That's kind of what I would expect to do with my mod, is to reduce the move speed of most of these guys. Horses would move faster just like they do now. Unfortunately, we're getting unlucky in our moves here. And when you get to these forests, you can't see very far. Although we're on a big ridge, we should be able to see to the other side of it. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's a flat area from here to here. That's not further down. The other thing that rivers do is they actually give you a penalty in combat. I don't think deer can actually reinforce each other, but yeah, it's just the one deer, so the other deer isn't actually participating. So that gave us, again, 5 food and 5 influence. And we're going to have this guy go ahead and do his allotted things. A sanctuary has popped up behind us. Wow, and double science nearby. See, it's kind of good to just keep going back over the same area. Like I said, those things pop up over time. All right, well, we've got 4 population. This one's going to take 7 turns to complete. That's going to take 10 turns to complete. Ay, ay, ay. The 3rd outpost you try... Oh, boy. That's bad. The bear just just came from a lair spawn in there. Okay, not good. We're going to go ahead and ransack this and get some more food that way. And we fought 4 of 7. So far, so good. Now, we can come up here. The deer does not actually... they call it a deer? What do they call it? Just deer. The deer doesn't actually have a zone of control. And we're attacking from a higher, so we're just going to get instant resolution. Did we lose somebody? I think we just lost... No, we split them off over here. That's fine. Yeah. No, did we just lose somebody? Hang on. Let's load that turn again. Oh my god, click the button. There we go. Sanctuaries respawn. That is good to know. I didn't really notice that before, but I just noticed it now. 2 guys, you get 11 strength. Settle it, though, to get the influence per turn. Settle what to get the influence per turn? This mammoth doesn't even know he's already dead. You're right. Okay, you're right. I now see what you're saying. You'll get the influence early on, which does have an impact, and we did actually settle that here. But I don't think we're... Well, we are getting it. Look at that. Good point. I didn't actually notice that the World Wonder would affect you when you just had claim over the territory. I thought you needed a city. Then again, I haven't actually interacted with those very often. So, here... Yeah, the deer's in a different place. Oh, because it's moved already. All right. Let's do this. We still have 2. And we didn't lose anybody. Okay. Then I was panicking before for no reason. So you can see, entering the area with the river cost us all our movement points. But now if we move along the river next turn, we can make it easier. I like the way that the terrain, generally speaking, works here. Alright, we got a bunch more food here. Well, a bunch more, I say. 5. 5 more food. Now, the deer never attack you, but we did just see a bear spawn over here. And you see it's got the lightning bolt. That means dangerous wildlife spawn from here. This is peaceful wildlife, herbivores. But... Oh, there's some science we can pick up. Lots of science. 3 science and 5 influence. Very good. Now, if we wanted to set down another territory, we really can't in the Neolithic. Maybe with this +5 per turn from the Wonder we could, but generally speaking, you're going to place at most 2 outposts in the Neolithic before you advance in the era. We're going to get this science as well. And you'll notice we're going to get a Neolithic legacy trait now, even though technically we shouldn't get it till 15 because we're playing at the slightly slower game speed than normal. Which feels like a little cheating if we advanced without getting the science star now, but this is the way it's currently set up. So, we can gain bonus industry per population, bonus food per population, or bonus science per population. Let's take a look at what we got here on the map. Lots of food and a good way to expand our industry, but not a lot of industry to start with. Whereas this is a lot of food as well and not a lot of industry. I think that's what we need to do. I think we need wattle and daub. We become a people who have a history of making things. So we go here and burn down this sanctuary. We found another science one. That's good. We might just get a science star here. And to say to hell to the population and the hunting one, although we're very close to the hunting star. Now, I didn't mention it, and in case you don't know, I gained a veterancy star hunting that deer, yes. The research is more valuable as a flat resource. That is true. And if I had a good balance between food and production, right off the bat, I think I would have gone with the science. Because you're absolutely right. The science is worth more in the early game, that flat science per pop. But the fact that I settled 2 areas that have really good growth potential, but don't have a lot of production, it's going to take them time. It's going to basically 3 makers quarters and it'll be golden. But until I get that, its production is going to be a little slow. So it'd be slow to get going. What's more, you know what? We haven't seen any luxury resources until we got way up here. Like, we are not close to having any luxury resources. Stability is going to be a bit more of a problem for us. I'm kind of tempted to follow the river through the forest. I don't know how we wound up with a 2 there. I know there was a... Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm going to have one of these guys split off so they can go get that. And this guy can, I guess, go up here and look for more. The other thing is every single one of these tribes that I'm building, when I enter the next era, it will become a scout, essentially, which you can also place into your cities and give them immediate population. The problem is the way the population scales, unless you have a lot of infrastructure to feed the people, they just starve to death immediately. It's really, really annoying in that way. So now, the fungal hoarder. So here's a +2. The man will leave the settlement, but remain part of the tribe. This is a flat +2 I probably should take. And I think this is specifically on Tevel, because that's where the event is happening. So this city will forever, this outpost will have a +2 on it forever. And now I've earned an Era Star for science. Wait, was that just... Oh, that was +2 of this knowledge. I thought that was a +2 per turn. Oh, that's not nearly as good as I thought. I mean, it is good, because it actually helps you get this knowledge star very early. Because +2, you can see it's like worth an entire science thing that you're traveling around looking for. Question is now, I think, do I advance this very turn? It looks like only one culture has advanced so far, so I'm going to have my pick. Let's guess if it's the Harappans or not. Nope, the Mycenaeans have been chosen early. Let's take a quick look here. We don't have any rivers in the first two starting areas, so maybe the Harappans won't be as great. They benefit a lot from being on rivers. The Harappans are largely considered to be the most powerful faction that you can get in the Ancient Era. And honestly, none of our tribes are really close. These guys are really close, actually, to getting another tribe point, but I don't think that's worth waiting. I think we pick our civ right now. So, let's see what we want to pick. We've got two good, super defensible locations here because they're on the southern tip of a peninsula. We can easily expand 1, 2, maybe 3 more areas with outposts and eventually convert them into cities. Now, I'm going to try to ignore the fact that I know that some of these are much worse than others and try to play to the map because I find that to be more fun than just going, well, the Babylonians are clearly more powerful than anybody else, so I should take the Babylonians to speed through the blah, 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 blah. And the Egyptians are very powerful, and the Harappans are very powerful. One of the things I thought was really cool is the Hittites, they don't get a special district for you to build. Instead, all of their outposts are fortified, which means they need to be sieged in order to destroy them like a city. That's at least what I think that means. And that seems like a really cool thing if your plan is to like expand like crazy with a bunch of outposts that you can't necessarily defend as easily. Because the enemy could just walk in and just torch your outposts if you don't have units there. But these outposts can't simply, one does not simply torch an Awari, cannot ransack it. You have to siege it, which can give you as a player some turns to come and defend them, which means you can spread further. I really like this concept. I'm not 100% sure that it's as balanced as some of the other things that you can get. Now, the Nubians would be a good choice if we had access to a lot of luxury resources, which we don't. The Olmecs, I like the fact that they would give us a lot of influence to help us expand, and I like that they have a lot of food on their Olmec head for some reason. You'll get more fame. I should wait so I get more fame. I know I'll get more fame, but in the long game, you've got like 20,000 fame. What's the extra 100 gonna matter? The Hittites' Awari only transforms into a garrison. You don't think they need to be sieged. You might be right. And if so, it's a lot less fun and interesting than I thought. Because if it's just that it's got defenses so that if you have troops on it, it is defended. I do like that it can be used as a land spawn point, though. But I do like the extra combat strength of the Hittites also. And the militarist empire means that we get points for slaughtering things. Problem is we don't have anybody near us, right? So we can't take advantage of this yet, but maybe we will. Definitely don't want the Nubians because we don't have any. Maybe in the later age when we get some lucky resources. The Olmecs is actually a good potential. Javelin throwers is a nice early strong unit. And I like having the influence and food on a nice quarter. Phoenicians is a no because we don't have the resources as mentioned. Now the Zhao, bonus stability is actually quite good. But stability is so freaking broken in this game, I really don't want to abuse it that much. But the science is good too. And the thing is that they're not a science civ. Everybody points out that, like, the main thing, they say, like, the main thing of this thing is their science. The science is per adjacent mountain. Otherwise, it's not that great. The main thing is it's the stability they give you, which I really like with the Zhao, because if you are getting a lot of influence from other sources, then the stability lets you build lots of districts and attach lots of territories. And the Babylonians bonus here, because it's a farmer's quarter and a research quarter, can be pretty good. I think this definitely is a better science city than the Zhao. And the Egyptians, oh man, I do love playing with the Egyptians just because I love my cities actually being able to produce things, and they don't often. So instead of the Hittites, because if we had already met somebody that we knew we could potentially go to war with to earn militarist stars, I think we're going to go with the Olmecs, because we are already producing more influence than normal. So if we get a Stheet star, it'll be worth more, and we can get them more easily. And this gives +1 influence on territory, allowing us to more quickly expand and take over these neutral areas that we think are real good. Tinadir says, currently this culture is way underpowered. I think he's talking about the Hittites. The Zhao, Harappans, Egyptians, and Olmecs are good. And I agree. Egyptians would help with my lack of industry. It's not a lack of industry for very long. Zhao need mountains. Yes, I don't have many mountains. The +2 stability is very good. And the fact that it's a permanent bonus is very good too. The +1 influence on territory, a lot of these are absolute jokes, right? +1 influence on territory. Okay, I'm going to start with like 2, maybe get to 3. And in the early game, that +3 can matter. As soon as you get to classical, though, you're making 40, 50, 60 influence a turn, and the +5 you get is a lot less impactful. And by the time you get to medieval, you're making like 120, 130 influence a turn, and the +8 you're getting is insignificant. So your point that the +2 stability goes through the whole game, and it matters through the whole game. That +2 stability per pop, right? Is that a per pop thing that they get? On a district, on each district. So it's basically a 20% stability discount on every district you get for the entire game. That is fantastic. I wish these were a lot more balanced. The +1 combat strength is okay for most of the game. It can make the difference between winning and losing battles if it's a close battle. Having +1 combat strength means your units do more damage and they do less, and that can be just enough to win you the battle. So I think that works really well for the whole game. This one is amazing for most of the game, for at least the first 3 eras. It does start to peter out later on, but I think it's slightly better than the +1 influence, depending. +1 industry on tile producing industry. That's okay, but when you combine it with the discount on districts that last the whole game, that's great. Again, that's a scaling bonus. The problem with this game is a lot of things are flat bonuses when they need to be scaling, and a lot of them are scaling bonuses when they need to be flat. And it's kind of insane that Amplitude gets that so wrong. Like, they seem to have no real concept of when something should be scaling and when something shouldn't. So the scaling is all wrong. This is the problem I have with it. The Harappans bonus is too good. But anyway, all that to say, I think I like our Olmecs as a starting civilization here. So we're going to adopt them now and get started. Yes, we could get an extra fame star if we stuck around for 1 or 2 more turns, but the extra 100 fame is not worth it, in my opinion.
And the challenges of a young civilization. It's hard keeping up with the neighbors when they have the wheel and you don't. Humankind learns quickly that everyone contributes. If you're terrified of wild animals, you can grow lentils or catch fish. Tribes settle towns. Towns develop markets, and markets begin the exchange of goods, services, and most important, rumors and hearsay.
So you say the extra... You say the extra pop will boost my starting in the ancient era. I have not found that to be true because, oh good, my stupid outposts still haven't converted. I guess I should have stuck around one more turn or two. I didn't realize this one hadn't converted yet because I gave it such little production and I settled it too late. But the extra pop won't boost my ancient era because if I put like 3 or 4 pop into my starting city, the city just starts to starve immediately unless you get a lot of farmers' quarters very quickly. So yeah, having extra pop I've not found to be very helpful. I know, and I'm saying if you dismiss your units into the city becomes overpopulated immediately and then starts to die because there's not enough actual food. And I don't know, maybe that's a thing for playing on 450. If you play on the 300 turn speed, that's not the case. I don't know. By the way, hunting animals becomes way less valuable when you get here because your scouts can't create more tribes anymore. Very disappointing. I think they should kept that. The scouts should still be able to get food from mammoths and create more scouts or something. But not against other players, obviously. You're not eating them. You're not cannibals, damn it. We're going to deal with this bear, I hope. It's an 11 strength. We've got 16 strength? Why is he 16 strength? +1 from veterancy. Oh, I forgot he's veteran. And the narrative event... Okay, so the narrative event that gave my tribes +2 apparently carried over to the scouts. I don't think that narrative event carries over the rest of my units, though. It did say on tribe. So anyway, let's continue exploring the map. And we still need 90 to get a 3rd outpost. The narrative event that gave +2 to my tribe's combat value is still here. Now, see what do you get? Oh, 5 gold for killing, instead of, like, the food that can give you extra pops, or the influence that's amazingly valuable right now. You only get gold instead for killing animals at this period. I'm going to do the same thing where I hit F5. I'm just going to try to resolve it automatically for speed purposes. Okay, so I think these guys are going to get deployed into the city as soon as it is built. For now, though, they can go and burn this layer to the ground. For our families! And ransacking always takes some time, and now we get 10 gold instead of like 20 food. 20 food was freaking amazing. 10 gold is... what can I do with this? Nothing. Nothing with 10 gold. The Harappans have been chosen. The other thing that happens is your scouts lose the ability to heal in neutral territory, which is really lame. They're supposed to explore. Like, the scout units should keep that benefit. All the other units, I totally agree. Like your swordsmen, your spearmen, whatever. Make them come back to friendly territory to get healed. But the fact that scouts go out, fight an animal, and then have to come all the way back to friendly territory and then go back out to scout more is annoying. Yep, you're right. Looking at the outpost, I definitely shouldn't have advanced quite yet. It turned out to have been a mistake. I didn't realize I didn't have the outpost yet. Because usually, this is actually the first time I've advanced without having a ready-made outpost, having already been finished. And that might be because I was a little slow on building the second one, and it might be because I put it in a place that didn't have a lot of industry, and it might be because I advanced it a little earlier than I normally do. I got the Era Star before I normally do. All of those things can be true.
Follow me.
I gotta hunt this bear. The bear is hunting me! Alright, so same thing. F5 to save, auto-resolve, because fighting a bear is not interesting. And now these guys have to go back and heal, and you can see how much they're going to heal. Because when they're in friendly territory, they're considered to be supplied. I do wish there was a concept of baggage trains, and if you could get behind somebody, then you could cut off their baggage train and stuff. But, you know, I play a lot of war games. I like those things. Alright, one more turn to get this outpost complete.
You have built a first outpost, adding another territory to your empire. I know, you're hoping this is the beginning of something very, very big.
You're right, I am hoping that. And look, this one's actually almost the same period. So here, We're going to evolve this outpost into a city. It's just free the first time you do it, and then every time you like attach or expand, build more outposts, it all costs influence. And influence in this game is largely developed from population. So we're going to immediately disband these guys. See, the city has 0 population. It's got 14 food growth because it exploits all the things around it. Here's one of the interesting things about the way this game works. Each district, of which the city center is one, each district is essentially exploiting the stuff around it, but only a specific type of thing. Main plazas exploit only production and food that are adjacent to them. Makers' quarters, and under them. Like, if there was science underneath this city, it would not, like, we found over here, there was a science bonus from the Terra Rasa, is +2 science. If we built a city directly on top of this, the +2 science would go away. Each district will only exploit the things under it that it exploits. So city centers exploit food and production. They used to exploit all 4. Food, industry, money, and science. And I kind of wish city centers still did that, but maybe that's something I'll be able to mod in. And then districts, generally speaking, only exploit one thing under or adjacent to them. So the good news is, if I put a maker's district here, it's going to exploit all of the industry adjacent to this. But it won't wipe out the food that's adjacent to it. If I were to put a food district on top of here, you can see it wipes out the industry that's underneath it. And that's problematic when you get rivers that go through forests, because rivers through forests are incredibly good for you. They all give +1 food and +2 production. So if you settle a city right in here, it's going to have tons of food and production, and the rivers get huge bonuses in both food and production. But if you build any districts on top of the river, it'll cancel out the other one. If I build a maker's district, it cancels out the food. If I build a food district, it cancels out the production. That drives me crazy. It makes me so, it wants me to take my hair out. I can build these buildings that do really cool things for rivers, but then I have to cancel out the bonuses if I actually want to take advantage of the tiles. So what I usually wind up doing is, if I built a city right here, then what I do is, okay, the tiles to the north, I'll build maker's quarters on and benefit from the river, I think it's the water wheel tech. Where is it? Is it really that far up? There it is, water mill. +2 industry on river. So the maker's quarters that are north of the city would benefit from the water mill because I have a bunch of maker's quarters there. They would not benefit from the irrigation because they can't exploit food. Ugh. And then south of the city, where the other rivers are, that's where I'd put my food things so that they could still benefit from. There is one culture, I think it's in the next era. Oh, they're not going to let me see the next era, are they? Oh, yeah, they are. Who is it? Damn, I thought it was in the next era. One of them has a unique district that counts as a farmer's quarter and a maker's quarter. And I love it so much. Because I can put it on top of a river and it exploits everything. Maybe it's the 3rd era. It might be medieval. Anyway, I love that one for that reason. Anyway, we're back here. We have to figure out what to do with this city. So, building the Olmec head counts as a farmer's quarter and gives us more food than a farmer's quarter would on its own, right? This will give us +7. This will give us +9, so we're definitely going to start by building that. And what this does is it exploits everything adjacent. The thing about that is we've got this domestication that's going to exploit this later. But see, this is another thing that drives me crazy. You see how this has science on it, right? If I were to build this here, the science disappears. It's still there. I can still exploit it if I were to build a research quarter adjacent to it, but I don't know it's there because it's gone from the interface. Instead, they should have the science there with like a big red line through it saying, you can exploit this tile, but you're not currently exploiting this resource. Instead, they just hide it, which is it drives me crazy. Anyway, here's the thing. This is 9. This is 7. But this we're going to build on later anyway. Let's do this now and just get the 9. And you'll notice districts all have -10 stability on them. And that is supposed to be the thing that slows you down. One thing I learned recently, which is super important, and it's not written anywhere. See this tooltip? Nowhere. If you hover over this tooltip, nothing. You get 1 influence per population in your city. Right on here. See, it says 3 influence from main plaza. I'm going to go ahead and do this and deposit it into the city. Now it says 5 influence on the main plaza. This doesn't say per population. It gets very confusing here. But if you hover over this, okay, it does say 2 influence from 2 population. Great. You know what happens when your stability goes above 90%? Every population is worth 2 influence. It doubles your influence production in your city. That is insane. That is insane, because influence is the thing that slows you down early on. Of course you didn't know about it. It's not anywhere. I struggled trying to figure out, okay, what is going to be the best way to get influence production? I looked, and suddenly I look back, and the city's now getting 2 per population. I'm like, how did that happen? Did I build a building? Is there a turn point? Is it? And then finally I figured out it was a stability thing. So it starts being strained, but next turn it's going to go up to 100%, and you'll notice it will go from +2 to +4. And that is amazing. It's the only way to play, is keep your stability high early on so that you can massively increase your influence production, because it's how you put down outposts and everything else. It is a game changer. There was no reason to stay at high stability before. It was useless. Now it actually has a purpose. All right, anyway. We already put 2 pops in here, and you can see we're already almost not making enough food, because the number that your pops consume is like a geometric function. So the first pop you put in was 8, the second is 16 consumption, is another 8, and then by the time you get to the third, it's like -10, and then -12, and then -14 or something like that. It just gets out of control. It's not linear. In Civilization, every additional pop consumes 2 food. It doesn't work in this game because the amount of food that they give you from buildings is like an exponential thing, right? This gives you +1 food and +1 for each adjacent farmer's quarter. That doesn't sound like it would scale like crazy until you get to the buildings that mean every farmer's quarter now gets an additional food and an additional +1 per adjacent farmer's quarter. So now they're +2 each, and then you get another one that gives you +1 per population. It just gets out of control. Your food gets out of control way too fast. If Co 3 is good, will there be a new Tales of Heroes? I am not good at real-time strategy games. I'm so bad at them. I wasn't good back then either, but I muscled through it because I love the game so much. But man, I suck, and I hate how much I suck at them. And it's really because I really just want to watch things happen. So maybe, but I'd have to find a co-host that is really, really up on the game, and like Vittensby was, or Rogers was, where they play it enough that they know all the things that I don't. Because I don't want to host another thing where I don't know enough about the game because I don't play it. I don't know enough about the meta, etc. And again, I can play League of Legends, and I like it. I'm not great, but I'm not terrible either, because I'm only moving one thing around the map. I'm following that one thing. But in RTS, you have to jump around the map so much, and my brain does not want to do that. I know what I should do is give these guys some orders, and then quickly go over and look at these guys, give them some orders, and then quickly go back. But I want to just give orders and watch everything unfold when I'm learning a game, or even when I'm not learning a game, just watch it unfold, because my brain wants to see the outcome of my actions. Anyway, I'm not gonna get stuck here for any longer. But that's the reason that I might not do another Tales of Heroes because of that. But maybe we'll try it anyway. I'm sure I'll do some streaming and stuff with it if it's any good. And maybe if I can find somebody that would put up with me, it might be worthwhile. I've been doing well, Solstice. We just survived the crappiest little hurricane that didn't hurt us at all, but I think it kind of ravaged the coastline of Connecticut and Rhode Island. We are getting too old for RTS. I was too old when I was in my 20s. I was just terrible at them. I always have been, because my attention, I know, my ability to use my attention in a meaningful way is my problem. So I'm actually going to dump... See, if I dumped these guys into my city right now, it would just cause... Like, the population that you put on farmers can't even feed themselves. And I find that to be very problematic. They cost more than 8, so you can't have sustenance farming. Like, oh, that drives me crazy. I have so much to fix in this game. The mod tools cannot come soon enough. Meanwhile, we have enough influence to put a city on this province. And it's the only province that we can put one on, so we might put an outpost there. With an early farmer's quarter, you can get past 6. That might be right if you have the right, like, prairie around you, and so you're probably correct. Once this Olmec head is done, I can probably drop those 2 guys in. But until then, I think we're just SOL. 4 pop early can be supported with 2 farmers. Yes, but you can't grow with it. And then what is your pop doing? It's just farming. It's not doing anything meaningful. Like, if I had the pop actually here in doing science, that's hugely meaningful. Going from 3 to 9, it's tripling my science. So that's what I would love to put some pops in here. And that's the other part of this. Oh, it drives me crazy. Population in food and industry becomes so much less valuable very quickly. As soon as you get a few of these districts, boom, the food and industry is worthless compared to how much you get from the districts and the special things. But the science and money, oh, those pops are golden forever. They're the only real way to get those things for quite a while. The money gets a lot easier in the mid-game when you get luxuries and stuff. But the science is almost always you just need to get the people. So you're right. I could have 2 farmers and 2 something elses. And I'm going to have a 3rd one here in a second. So maybe it does make sense to put this guy in. Certainly not 2, though. So he can't be doing anything else. We have to have a farmer there. No, it looks like you're wrong. Depending upon where you settle your city, and I have it in a very heavy food area, as soon as we get this 4th population, we're going to immediately start starving. And it's probably because I'm on the 450 turns. So the growth is slow. And I think the way that they balance growth, which is a bonkers way to do it, is they massively increase the consumption. I don't think the consumption is this high in the 300 turn mode. You can't put another pop in food because I've only got 2 slots for food for population. So yeah, we're going to be stuck at 3 here for a bit, which is a shame. Once this district finishes, we'll be able to support the 4th. If you play an Endless, then I don't know how you're supporting that much population with only 2 farmers. Because you can see here, it's immediately going to die. Wherever I put this, maybe I'll get 1 turn of 9 science, and then it's going to immediately die. So this... Oh, you know what we need to do? Actually, if we attach this, then it will survive, I bet. Because we got a lot of food coming in from here. Not much, actually. It's got its own population. That's going to make it worse. But we're still attaching it. Because now we can fit 1 more person into food and keep it sustained. So there you go. That's the other thing that you can do. So for those of you not familiar, you can attach an outpost to a city, and now this outpost's exploitations are directly added to the city. The city also gets 1 extra slot in each space for population. Any population in this city were added to this main one. And I can build off of this if I want to. You can build if you want to. You can leave your past behind. So let's put another of my unique districts on the map because you always want to build those before the end of the era. So might as well build it first. And we did get a little extra production from that. The next thing we want to do after that, though, is we definitely want to build a maker's quarter. It's only 5 extra production. It's not great, but if we were to build 3 of them in a row, we'd be good. The thing is, each additional district you build after the first one gets harder and harder, which is a terrible way to scale your districts. Just make them limited or have them cost more stability. Making them more expensive means that you're just going to have this thing where industry becomes the king resource forever. You have to constantly build more makers' quarters, or your cities will just get slower and slower and slower throughout the whole game. And that does suck. Well, the first district sucks in terms of how much production. No, it gave me like 9 food. This one's about 9 food as well. Oh, you mean the first Maker's Quarter is going to suck, yes. And then the second one is going to be very good because it's going to reach a lot more forest. That's exactly correct. Which is why I settled near the forest here. Because I knew once I got here, I could get a lot more exploitation. And then I could build like a triangle, which gives the adjacency bonuses and other things. Now, do we want to throw the pottery workshop somewhere in there? We are an aesthete culture. Oh, interesting. Didn't know that's how that worked. Oh, it costs gold. What do we get out of it? Let's see. 71. Gain 20. Okay. So we converted some gold into influence using that button, basically. That's another thing. Some of these special abilities, depending upon your affinity, are really cool. Like the territorial one. It's not called territorial, is it? Expansionist. The expansionist one that lets you ignore closed borders and just annex stuff. That's really cool. It's broken because as soon as anything comes anywhere near your guys that are trying to annex, it cancels the annexation and gives you no refund. So you have to pay 1,000 gold again to try to start the annexation, even if you win the combat and defend it. It's broken. It can be fixed, and it's really cool. A lot of the other ones, super boring. The science one, terrible. All it does is convert some of your resources into science. I can do that when I decide where to put my population. That's what I'm doing. Give me something better. That's so boring and bland. Come on. This one is kind of cool because it plays around with the cultural spread, which is not really something that happens very often. All right. Anyway, we can build another, claim another territory. 23! Oh, God. How is that 23? I don't get it. Where is it getting 23 from compared to, like, yes, it's very few production. But, like, rivers are so blatantly overpowered in the early game. Like, the scaling of the population seems to assume that you always start on a river, which I totally would have done if any of the other provinces had a river. Really annoying. Anyway, that's a decent spot for a second city to start. And then I'll just need to attach a territory that gives it production. And there's a really good production looking thing over here. Or maybe this is a third attachment for the capital and we start a new city right over here. Because that's so many rivers in there could be freaking amazing. Especially if we could go like agrarian on our second classical era civilization. That might be the way to go. Alright, so we're still stable. We're a little bit closer. I moved this guy to science because science crawls along if you don't have somebody on science. But I wonder if I shouldn't put him here to start. Speed this up by a couple of turns. Yeah, I think that's worthwhile. The science we're going towards is a thing that we could then build only when we get enough production to do it. So the science isn't actually worthwhile right now. So, a carcass of riches. We have wild animals, how we want to treat with the wild animals. Prosperous gives us money. Bountiful gives us food. And patriotic gives us reduction in land unit costs. Well, we could start building land units, but we don't have the science to build land units yet. The food affinity is way powerful. And the only downside is the grievances it gives you. And I wish it was less powerful. Just gaining pop like that in a single turn. You can get like 20 turns of population growth in a single turn. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. I think we're going to go with Bountiful. That'll help us grow our population a little bit faster for now. Alright, so we've got the outpost being built here. And I think I want to build up here somewhere. Because that'll at least get me two luxury resources. We'll get a coffee, which is bonus food per farmers and bonus stability per coffee. One of the things that I think is broken about the resource system, luxury resources specifically, is I'm okay with the non-stability thing scaling with each additional copy. Like each coffee could give you bonus food per farmer or something. But the first copy of coffee that you get should be the only one that gives you stability. It's just way, way too easy to stack stability with luxury resources. You can buy 5 coffee from your neighbor, and then you've got, boom, 20 extra stability on every single city. The first one should be the only one that you get, and you bump it up if you want. Just make it a flat bonus and not a scaling bonus, so that the diversity of resources that you have gives you increased stability, but getting a single one a lot gives you that same bonus multiple times. That's how I think it should be balanced. So make it like +6 stability per coffee, or +6 stability flat for getting 1 coffee, and each additional coffee gives you no stability, just the food bonus. That I think would make the luxury resources a lot more interesting. So these guys, I want to add them as a pop eventually maybe, but not yet because we can't quite afford it. It'll start starving again. So let's send them out to start exploring. And since stability is the only thing preventing you from spamming this districts, I would also, in my mod, I'm going to make stability harder to get. And maybe even put some kind of, instead of having districts scale with their cost, I just want to make stability be the thing that limits them. Nothing should take a long time to build in this game, in my opinion, except wonders and temples and like those things that you collectively build. Everything else should take about the same time the whole game, and that's going to be difficult to balance, but if you don't have massive inflation with regards to your resources, it's a lot easier to balance it. Yeah, you could also have diminishing returns on them. That's absolutely right. You could do like a 6-3-2-1 on resources for each additional copy you get for stability. Or even just, not just for stability, you could do that for the for the actual other copy as well. I agree. I think that would be great. Or like you need a copy for each city, for example. Instead of just having one resource gives all your cities all the bonuses. So let's see this area over here. Big, wide open plain with lots of prairie next to a forest. Also a good place. I'm not sure it's worth us claiming it just yet, because what I'd like to do is start my second city soon, and that costs a boatload of influence, if I remember correctly, like 240. And we're getting a lot, right? I'm keeping my city very stable for a good reason. Let's just keep exploring this. Lots of open area to look at. Mammoths! Yeah, I kind of wish all districts gave you some industry, and that way you wouldn't be forced to use maker's quarters on every single city you got. Oh, we found another player.
Off we go.
This is just too good a spot. Oh, and another player. Is that the same player? No, it's got to be a different color, right? Slightly different color. I want to claim this before they do. I just have to find the right spot to do it. A nomadic tribe reached the ancient era and has become the Egyptians.
Off we go.
Like, rather than have the whole industry concept, I kind of think what Maker's Quarters should do is give you, like, a discount on future districts and infrastructures. So that most of your... Because one thing I did notice, if you click on a city in the later part of the game, very little of your industry is coming from your population. A decent chunk of your science is coming from your population, and some of your money is coming from population. But industry is so disconnected, because the population will be giving you like 12 or 18 or maybe 20, and then you'll be getting like 200 from tiles and districts. And that to me is a problem. So I kind of wish instead of Maker's Quarters giving you industry, they do exploit industry, right? And maybe they have an adjacency bonus with a specific infrastructure. But the main thing they should do is give you more worker slots and give you discounts on future industry constructions, right? That I think would be an interesting thing. Makers' quarters are good for producing buildings, like infrastructure and other districts, and like a garrison would give you discounts on producing units. And then maybe tone down the amount of infrastructure stuff that you get from the map.
Constructed a first emblematic quarter.
Or tone up
It's a
what
symbol of
population give you
power
and adjust the costs
and a
accordingly.
lasting memory of this era.
Because each
ahead.
pop is
Be
basically worth 2 tiles-ish of production. Actually, it's worth 3. So that's not too bad. But if you took off the adjacency bonuses, or you made the adjacency bonuses into something that would give bonuses to the discount, maybe that would work.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think I can see all I can see here. So now, 11 and 13. This does look like a decent spot that I can spread out from in a bunch of different directions. So let's go down there and try to set that up. I can definitely do plenty of industry up here. You can also cut down forests. The problem is I never know what's underneath the forest. Is it a prairie? Or is it like dry grass? It's only one food. So we basically found everything. Let's go check over here just in case there's like iron or something. We only have the one strategic resource and it's horses. Don't see iron. Well, I wouldn't see iron. I don't see copper anywhere. Yeah, 24 yields on an outpost isn't that great. But when you combine it with those river bonuses, it will be. Domestication researched. Okay, well that's good. Do we bury the dead, or do we cremate them to get additional food or additional production? It'll lower my stability for a while. What's my current situation vis-a-vis stability? We have plenty of stability. The other thing that's a little that's really confusing, when you look at the stability, you see it how it says plus 30 stability from base value? I'm actually at 110% stability. I know that because the base value of stability is always 40. The game subtracts from the base value in order to keep this at 100%, because it thought it would be confusing if it went over 100%, because there's no effect for being over 100%. And having more than 100% stability doesn't make a lot of sense, because that's what percent means. You can't have more than 100% of something. But, the tooltip makes things very confusing, because it would be nice to know how much leeway do I have before I go under 90. How many more districts can I add before I go under 90, which is the important number? So the way that you can tell is you have to go here and see what it says for base value, subtract that number from 40, and that's how far you are above 100%. Sigh. It's just the way it is. So we got our first Olmec head completed, which means now we've got extra food production, which is going pretty well. Which brings me back to this. Do I want forced labor, which lowers stability, or bonus food and penalty to land unit cost? Well, the land unit cost isn't a problem. And I think the flat industry is going to help me more. Because it's basically going to... And these flat numbers is so ridiculous. Because the plus 10 is super good. It's plus 50% industry. But later in the game, it's going to give you an event that gives you plus 5% at most. It's crazy. These events really look like they were designed... And then the game was adjusted significantly, and you have this massive inflation of yields. And then they never adjusted the events. Okay, so this region here is pretty good. If I were to build one here, what's the... Oh, I can't because I don't have 135. It won't even show me the preview, which is also annoying. Like, let me look at the preview, even if I can't afford it. Thank you very much. Now... where to go from here? Well, we get our specialty unit if we go on carpentry. It'll also let us clear forest, which we don't necessarily want to do, but lumberyard will give us some extra production without building extra districts. 2 food per farmers is a joke until you've got at least 4 or 5 farmers. Which is like, why do you bother giving it to me early if it's not useful? Maybe if it had some flat food on it in addition. Because it doesn't need to scale. I just need it to be better even when I only have 1 or 2 farmers. Calendar will give you coffee. Oh, you think that the luxury should be more like Civ 5, where certain resources were tied to certain luxury resources, or certain techs were required for certain luxury resources. But yes, you're right. If I wanted to build this lumber yard, I'd have to count how many forests or woodlands do I have. Honestly, they're so good at the interface stuff that this tells me that they just ran out of time. They really just ran out of time to auto-calculate it for you. Instead of forcing you to go to the map and count every single woodland in all 3 of the attached territories for this city that you're going to exploit. Oh, calendar will let me build the coffee. Now I know what you're talking about. Yes, you're right, because it has the artisan's quarter. So that's probably the right next one to go with. And then we can go with this one. This guy replaces archers. Strong on forest tiles. Okay. Some people have pointed out that the javelineers are worse than archers in a lot of ways because, hey, an encampment. I can burn it down and get gold.
The Hittites. Get ready to hear the sound of chariots when you least expect it.
We've met
Greetings.
the Hittites.
I'm a good neighbor and a loyal friend. As long as you don't cross me.
Well, that sounds good. Here's the thing. Somebody else pointed out that even on the most difficult level you can do, you can propose an alliance, the AI will refuse it, and then if you press it as a crisis, if you demand the alliance, they will always relent and just become your ally, and they'll be your ally for the rest of the game. That, to me, means that their diplomacy system was not really finished. They just basically programmed it to accept the first demand that the human player asks of you. Oh, boy. Anyway, we're burning that, and then we're backing off. We're going to want to turn this into a city or this into a city sometime soon, so we got to save up our influence for that.
All together.
Yay, we got our 5 gold from hunting that deer. Woo! Now, there is a papyrus here. Oh, somebody else claimed it. So what I'd like to do is get some javelineers and go
History
deal
may
with
be
that.
changed by that.
How do you do? Whoever you are.
Oh, they attacked me. So, first things first, let's deal with this, and we are going to take a look. They've got one that's a veteran scout at 19, and I've got a scout that's not veteran at 15. How would they have a scout at 19? Oh, they have a lust for war, the cultural trait. They also have the ferocious narrative event going on. They also took the same narrative event I did, and Empire difficulty gives them an additional +1. Which means we want to run away! We did manage to ransack it before they could get to it, though. My war support against the Hittites drops because I ran away. If I'd let my people get slaughtered, then we would have had higher war support. Alright, we've got Empire Foundation. Do I really care about either of these at this point? +5 influence on Main Plaza used to be super valuable. Until I found out that we're now basically able to produce a lot by keeping our population at a high stability. The thing is, it'll pay for itself in 3 turns, right? +3 faith. The religion system is also really weird. The religion system feels like it's missing an entire chunk. You start with polytheism or shamanism, right? The earliest forms of religion. And then, later on, it just goes away with secularism or atheism. Like, you've got a civic that'll let you choose that. And they're missing the whole organized religion section in the middle where you have, like, Abraham religions and Hinduism and, like, all these other things that, like, came after polytheism and shamanism and animism, essentially, you have those stage, then you have the organized stage, then you have the secularism stage. That's like the history of human religion, right? Over the years. But they missed the whole organized religion section. You should ignore it in your run. It's completely inconsequential. All it's really useful for is gaining grievances against someone, or them gaining grievances against you, which is a cool feature, but aside from that, it's bonkers stupid. So this is lower creation output. I wish this one was also like minus 20% on city creation costs. Because attaching outposts doesn't usually cost that much in the first place. Absorbing cities isn't something I can do until the medieval era, and even with this discount, it's basically impossible, because it's balanced so poorly. Creating outposts does have a value if I'd gotten it sooner. I've already created most of the outposts I care about. So I wind up never choosing this civic at all. Very badly balanced, very badly created. I think I want these two scouts to get near each other and maybe go ransack this if there's no enemies nearby. Actually, no, they need to stay and heal. Now that I look at them. They have a turn they have to heal for first. These guys also need to heal, I think, so we're going to get them over here. But we're going to get them together because they're stronger together, you see. Then we're going to see if they kept units near here, we'll walk away. If they haven't, we're going to go... Oh, boy. They chased me. I couldn't get away. We're going to do a manual battle. It's 1-to-1. If we just take... Yes! Not quite, but that'll let them take our flag, unfortunately. But if we put ourselves up here, then we can attack downhill at them over and over again. The forest only has an advantage for defending against ranged attacks. It doesn't really help at all if you're not ranged. So we'll be here, and theoretically if they want to get us, they have to run at us uphill. They could actually go straight. They can't go straight through because I think our zone of control will stop them. Let's find out. Yep, they came uphill at us, which hurt them slightly more than it hurt us. Which allows us to attack downhill at them, which should have the same effect. Oh no, we took more damage. Just the roll of the dice there. Now they were able to go around, which is unfortunate. But we'll just go up again. and maybe just end the round? And have them charge up at us. Because you get a defense strength bonus if you don't do anything. Maybe we should have done that in the first place, but... Now I think if we end the round and don't die...
You're as likely to meet their canals.
Oh, we lost, and they died.
Oh
no, they ran away. That's what I had hoped for. Unfortunately, now they might get attacked by these guys here. I just want them to run away. Run away back to friendly territory. Run! But they're running over rivers. Oh god, they're going to get attacked again. Well, I'm not in their territory. Maybe they don't care. Can I get these guys to come help? Come get friendly with them. Go! Now I get to pick a religion. Oh, God. And this is always a dumb choice, too. So, I've got 6 pop. And I guess I like the idea behind it, right? With polytheism, you get a much stronger start with your religion. +5 faith per number of attached territories. Which is a really garbage way to print anything, by the way. What does per number of attached territories mean? Well, to me, that suggests for each territory attached to a city. But no, what they mean is per territory you have in your empire, period. So what it should say is per city, administrative center, and outpost. That's what it means. I would get 3. 1 for this territory, 1 for that territory, and 1 for that territory, which means I would get +15. Actually, sorry, I have another one up here. +20. Right? So, that to me is how you would write that. You should write that per city, administrative center, and outpost. Full stop. That explains it. per number of attached territories is super confusing and makes me think I need to attach territories to cities, and that cities themselves don't count because they don't count as an attached territory. That's how they're worded. So that's problem number one. Problem number two here is shamanism gives you +1 faith for population. So it's asking me +20 with an option for +25 if I build another outpost, or +6. Gee, I wonder which one I should pick. Now, this one will scale better as the game goes on, but if your religion is completely overrun by somebody else's religion, it does not matter how well it's scaled. So, I don't know, man. I'm going to try shamanism and see if it doesn't get overrun. But for now, it's going to be a very slow start for that religion.
We would all benefit from growing closer, don't you think?
Now, these are the guys who I was planning to attack just to get this city. So I think the non-aggression pact is actually a no-go for this. I'll counter to see if he wanted to pay me gold. He did not. And I do like that system, right? So it's very interesting. They offer an agreement. If you outright refuse, it becomes a grievance they can use to apply to potentially go to war with you. So if you refuse a trade treaty, it makes them more likely to go to war, more able to go to war. If you accept it, you accept it. If you counter, you say, well, how much do you really want this deal? Pay me some gold and we'll make it happen. If they refuse that, nobody gets a grievance. And I really like that choice structure. I can refuse outright if I definitely don't want this non-aggression pact. If it's like important to me, I don't want a non-aggression pact because I plan on killing this guy, and I don't want a non-aggression pact that gives me the trader bonus or badge or whatever. I don't want to have to break all these one at a time, lowering my war support or whatever later on. But I can also say, well, okay, I kind of don't want to just give you a non-aggression pact for free. Pay me for it. I like that setup. I know that you can change your laws at any time, but I don't want to waste the influence on it right now. So this finished. I can turn this into a city at 240, which is pretty close. This one finished too. What do we have? We have 21 and 7 with 2 pops. Well, we have to look at the overall here, right? So it's 11 is the total output. This one, so much more exploitation, huh? 19 from exploitation. This could get better if we cut down some of these forests, I bet. We'd have prairies underneath them. But this might be the one to start with, and then attach this to it separately. That also means this city is better protected, but this city becomes more attackable later on. Alright. So we're saving up for that. These guys were trying to get over here. These guys were trying to get over here. Get them back to group up together. Now I gotta move these guys first. There we go. I've grouped them up, so now they're kind of safe. Now I can get them back to heal over here. And look at these rivers are costing them a ton of time. Kind of wish the Pathfinder bonus that ignored penalties from forest also like reduced the penalty from rivers. Instead of losing all of your movement moving through rivers, maybe you just lose 2 extra movement points going through rivers or something like that. This needs the mod from Civ 6 that tells you the resource income of policies you make choices over. Yeah, you're right. If you choose this policy, it gives you this much blah blah blah. Yeah, that could be useful. It needs a lot of mods, to be honest. I don't know how moddable it will be. That remains to be seen, is what I mean to say. So we're still growing here with 6 pops. So that's good. Now we've got the 2 specialty districts that gave us a lot more food. Each one gave us like an extra 9 or 10 food, which is very valuable. We've also got these population. And soon we're going to be able to get ourselves some horses. And then we'll be able to build the barns, which is a flat 5 food. And then each farmer's quarter gets an additional 1 food and an additional 1 per. Like, these ramp up so fast. A new wonder can be claimed. Let me say, I love the way that wonders are claimed by spending influence. Why? Because this helps a tall versus wide balancing problem. In many of these games, 4X games in general, there's a problem with regards to a slippery slope system where the more you expand, the easier it is to continue expanding. The more you take, the easier it is to take more. And what you need is some kind of diminishing return, some kind of break on that. In the civilization system, they've always used happiness. Like, the more cities you have, the less happiness, each city lowers your national happiness. Or in Civ 4, it was each additional city costs extra city maintenance to all of your cities, right? There's like a bureaucratic penalty. And that, I think, is a good way to put a break on it. This one, the break is just how much influence can you produce. That, in my opinion, is a bad break because it makes influence so important on certain map types. If you like playing on big maps with lots of empty territory to slowly expand into, then the whole thing breaks down because influence becomes the most important thing you can possibly build to the exclusion of everything else. And I don't like that. So I don't mind influence being the thing that's a break, but make it so that influence isn't like something you can easily prioritize early on. But then that breaks the aesthete star, so who the hell knows? But I like the idea of stability being a strong indicator of how much influence you get. I've already started to come up with a great system for how I'm going to deal with influence as a thing that you get via different ways. Anyway, we were going to start this, which is only 7 industry. This is 13, which is better. But I think if we start this and attach this, we'll be better off than doing it the other way around. Because the attach cost is going to be like 45 or something. So let's start this as a city. And yeah, the attach cost for the second region is going to be 45. So we'll have currently 2 cities, each with 1 attached region. Which is, that does not feel like enough. It does not feel like enough at all, which is why I want to burn this to the ground and take it. Which to me says I need to consider strongly, and carpentry is the next one I'm doing, and then I'm also going to get city defense so I can get some warriors, because the warriors are quite a bit better than the scouts. Scouts are what by default? They're 13 by default. Oh, when units are... Status. Oh, maimed. Interesting. When they're a certain low... Okay, I see. Laventa started with 2 pops and isn't dying immediately. Fantastic, that sounds good. Maybe we should build this. Again, the only reason to build the Olmec head first is so I don't forget about it. But that'll give me 8. What'll it give me for production? 4. Meh. Very bad. Instead, I should build a farmer's quarter on top of this 2, and then build maker's quarters on the river or something. So let's start with the Olmec head here. Because again, that gives me the nice influence boost. Because then we could also put farmer right here and here. That's kind of perfect, actually. Now, the stability of this region is a lot lower than the capital. Because the capital gets a plus 50 to stability, which in my opinion is too high. I might take the base value and make it 50, and then have the capital bonus be like plus 30 instead of plus 50. So everything's a little bit more stable to start, and then give them make it a lot harder to gain extra stability. Something like that. And this might be a good thing to do right here, because I'm going to plan on building, producing a bunch of military units, and this is a lot closer to the front. And so that is one thing I really like, that when you build military units, it weakens the rest of your empire temporarily. The one thing I don't like is as soon as you build a military unit, suddenly you don't have to feed it anymore. You feed it gold instead of food, which always seemed weird to me. But I'm going to pay the 350 for this, so that we can start growing sooner. Because now I can attach this. And the next thing we can do is build production district. I definitely want this to be... I guess I could build it down here. Oh, I definitely don't need this guy on money. Put it on science. That's the other thing. Money is a joke. Money has no use in this era. Science, very important. Having a pop on here is a massive change in the amount of science I get. Money, no use. I can build an army and sustain it with the money that my city centers produce. Like, what does this city produce? It's 4 per turn. 3 from main plaza, 1 from administrative center. This one's probably got a guy here producing some money, yeah. But I think the capital... Oh, the natural wonder is what's giving me money. That's right. So that's one of the reasons my money's not a problem here. But one guy producing money can support an entire stack of units. Whereas one farmer can't even support himself as a pop. Now, that's fine. Maybe each army unit counts as a lot less number of people than the city population. There's the calendar. So now I can also try to get some more stability by doing this. I'm going to add these to the thing so I don't forget them, but I'm not sure what I want to do with them in what order yet. Because now I need the Javelineers. That needs to happen. This city is slowly trying to get me to horses. This Maker's Quarter is going to boost my industry a little bit. Ah, we gained an Agrarian Star. Well before we gained an Aesthete Star, I bet. Yeah, we're not even close to that. The pecking of poultry. The art of divination spreads. Do we want to embrace this divination of how the poultry picks the ground? Learning on 2 cities for 15 seems pretty good. Bonus stability is not really going to change anything, I don't think. Unless it's going to change this city. No, if it was going to push... And here's the other thing. I wish stability was had more discrete steps. Having just, like, above 90 or below 30 being the only things, like 3 sections. There should be, like, 20, below 20, and then, like, 30, 40, 50, 60. Like, every 10% should be a different gradation that has a slightly different impact. Now, it all maybe impacts the same things. Like, higher stability means more influence production, and lower stability maybe reduces other things or something like that. But just having 2 spots means that this decision I'm making right now is a joke, because celebrating is only going to help me if my stability of my cities, whatever city it's talking about, is right around 30 or right around 90. If it's anywhere else, if it's between 40 and 70, or it's way above 100, this is a non-choice, which is a problem. And since fanatical, I don't really care about that faith production. But let's see what the civilization looks like, though. Animism. They do have polytheism now. They have it in 2 places, so maybe we do care a little bit about that. Let's try to make this religion thing work for us. So we'll forbid it, and then people will become fanatical, and it'll help my faith spread when I tell them they can't? Okay, sure. All right, now, let's head over and see if we can set this thing on fire. No valid target in range. It's an outpost. Oh, I don't have any... See, that's kind of bonkers. I can't set it up to do it next turn, because I have no ability to do it this turn. But now I can. So the reason I can do this, it's going to take 4 turns, is because it's only an outpost. It's not part of their city. Uh-oh. I've stumbled upon the fact that there is an enemy army here in the fog of war that the game is letting me see anyway. That's so broken. Now they have a grievance, I think. Or no, they wanted another non-aggression pact.
Don't you think?
I think think I gotta say
must
no.
ruminate.
Because if I just counter and they pay me 30 gold, I'm not ravaging this anymore, and I'm kind of stuck. I could expand here if I make these guys like me enough. Yeah, I have some money to make them like me. I would then need to choose liberty and collectivism options in the future. I don't think either of the civics I have. Well, no, liberty or collectivism are the two. And this is both of those are on the wrong axis that matters. All right, I will offer him this. I will basically stop ransacking his thing if he pays me 30. He refuses. All right, we're going to keep ransacking it. But we know he's got an army nearby that might be able to do something about it. And I have no army. I'm trying to get to build it. But I need to research it first. Good thing we're going to have it researched in 2 turns. And as soon as we do, we'll prioritize building at least a few of those Javelineers to help us out with this little skirmish on the border. Now, the capital finally has those horses. And, oh, Javelineers are already available. I didn't notice that. So we're going to build one of them there. And we're going to build one of them here. We're just going to make that happen as soon as the Maker's Quarter's done. And then we do have... Now, our stability is a problem now. We're not getting as much influence as we were before because we're below. So now the question is, do we just lean into this and build more districts? I don't think so. I think the lumberyard will give me a bonus for every forest and woodland. So now we have to go ahead and count them. 1, 2, 3. You can't tell that that's a forest there, can you? 4. That's not. And then over here we have 5. So that would only give us +5 industry, which is okay. Do we want the animal barns instead? One of the things we can do is look on here. I do wish this was colored appropriately. We know it counts as a farmer's quarter. Why not color it green? I know it's unique, so maybe you wanted to make sure it wasn't obvious. Color it like a different color green from the other green that a farmer's quarter normally is. That annoys me quite a bit. Food from farmers. This will only give us 6 food. This will give us, what, 6 production or something. Let's take this, and then we'll decide more later. This city, we built this city, and we're going to get a javelin thrower out of it. It's growing at a decent rate. It'll grow faster once we build the javelin thrower. Oh, they came to stop me. So they're coming at us with 1. Oh, they have special runners. These are their equivalent of scouts that are stronger. They have a 14 combat strength compared to our starting 13, right? Which seems like it's not enough, right? Oh, we have unique scouts. What's special about them? They have 14 combat strength instead of 13. What? What? They do have 5 movement compared to 4, so they are slightly better there. But in the end, I've also got 16 on this guy and 15 on this guy because of that narrative event, which appears that they did not get. They have the +1 from veterancy, and they have +1 from empire setting. So this is a battle that's in my advantage. I'm going to manually resolve it here. And I think I'm going to put my second guy here. End deployment. They're attacking me, so they have to attack uphill to get to my flag. And they failed. You see this? Now, notice what happens when I end the round without attacking them. My guys get a +2 for defending. If you don't take an action, you get a bonus to the combat strength. Now I am going to take an action to finish them off.
All together.
Take that, thusly. Hey, you see how that canceled my ransack? That's dumb. If I win the combat, The ransack shouldn't be canceled, just like the annexation shouldn't be canceled if it's interrupted and I win the combat. Oh, I got a builder star. Excellent. How am I doing fame-wise? I'm in second place. Doing okay. The last of their line. How La Venta runs itself is not of our concern and would only cause friction. Where's La Venta? La Venta's my second city. Many servants from the city's palace have been castrated. Unacceptable. So we could get a penalty to stability but a bonus to industry, or a bonus to stability and a penalty to industry. Well, let's remember, we only care about stability if we're in that magic number. So 40 does mean we're going to have a problem with stability soon until we get these luxury resources online. So let's make sure we do that before we build our Olmec head. But to me, that suggests I want the production bonus so we can get those luxury resources online and maybe get some trading going on with somebody. I think I would like to get a trading going on with the Hittites, and maybe they would like to get trading going on with me because I've got horses, and I don't know if they do.
Yes, greetings.
They do not. So maybe we can propose a trade treaty.
This proposition
They agreed.
should be in all our best interests.
Now, they might want to trade luxuries. They don't have any strategics for me to trade with them yet. They don't have any luxuries either. But this way, when I get my luxuries, they'll at least pay me money. One of the things I considered is that maybe a large amount of influence should come from your trade. Any trade route you have, whether it's somebody trading with you or you trading with someone, should provide you with influence, because trade is leverage in diplomacy in the ancient world. So, like, instead of a building that gives you money per trade route, another building should give you influence per trade route. And that should be a major portion of where your influence comes from in the classical era. So we got warriors now available. Scientist star has been earned. A new wonder can be claimed. Let's see. Cannot be done as you are not the owner of this city/outpost. Convert for 40 money, and how much do we get in influence? 30-ish. Now, how do these guys feel about us? I'm going to pay one more time to get them to like us a little more. They don't have any resources to trade, but maybe I can assimilate them later. See, it says it's going to cost 23 to assimilate them. That seems awfully cheap. I don't know why it says 23. I don't think that's correct. Hey, there's something that gives us stability and irrigation. That's probably good. I would care about going to bronze working if we had an option to get copper from somebody. But for now, I think that's the right way to go. You know, a chariot's only possible if we have the horses and 2 copper. We definitely don't. So I'm hoping that they don't have... Oh, they didn't. They didn't have forces in range. So now I can build an outpost in this area. Hopefully a defendable one, huh? So that's 9 and 14. This is 10 and 13. This is slightly better defendable. This is at the bottom of a bunch of rivers. Sorry, the bottom of some hills, but the rivers are there too. This territory is not great. I just want an additional territory. It also might have iron in it. I don't know what that is, but it might be iron. I think they might have found the right spot. Damn it. Anybody else notice this? Watch, we've got some sheep there. Oh god! Stay away from the giant cursor! Run! Run away from the cursor! It's fun. Now, I'm eventually going to unlock an additional city slot with philosophy. I kind of want this to be my third city and this to attach to it. So that's what we're aiming for here. To have 3 cities and each city has 2 territories. That's a decent balance. Oh, I can afford to claim a wonder, huh? The Pyramids of Giza is great because of the industrial district, because of the district reduction cost. Temple of Artemis means that you can just move through forests for the rest of the game with no penalty, which just seems disconnected from, like, forests just stop being in your way when you have this temple in your territory. God, I hate that. And Stonehenge, clearly the strongest, right? Maximum food and huge bonus to stability. Like, every other thing is like, oh, here's 20 stability, here's 40 stability, here's 20, here's 40, plus an extra 5 per territory that your religion has under it. That is broken. This one is super freaking broken. And let's see how our religion is doing. Gotta say, it's not doing great. It could use a boost. So maybe does Stonehenge give us faith too? Yes, plus 20 faith also. So maybe we build Stonehenge in an attempt to help our religion out. Now, where do we build it? I'm thinking we build it somewhere in one of these territories up here that makes it valuable. But I don't know if we can build it just yet. I think we have to finish all the other things we're working on first. Now, if I'm not mistaken, yes, like other things, it exploits all the resources that it's next to. So we have to find a spot, like over here. Ah. No, that's crappy territory, damn it. Oh, maybe right here, because this is adjacent to a lot of rivers. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 river hexes adjacent to it. So if we were to get the buildings that improve rivers, then this is exploiting those rivers. Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm going to go with this. Now, is it going to get built quick? No. We're going to put that at the bottom of the chain. And we're probably going to have the capital help out with that when it's done. But that'll give a big stability boost to La Venta. And in the meantime, maybe the capital can also build stone rings, like over here. Remember that is going to get the science. I'm not sure that's a great move, honestly. We can go here. That is 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 food, 2 science, and 2, 4, 6 production. That's not terrible. I could also consider one of these forested areas over here with a lot of forests. This spot is 2, 4, 6 production and 2, 4, 6, 8 food. What did I say this was here? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7... 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 6, and 2. Oh, but that's in La Venta. I want this in here anyway. Actually, the capital has an extra 50, but that's okay. I kind of... And this would be 6 food, 7, 8 food, and 2 science. Huh. I'm definitely building districts into this forest. Maybe right here. This gives me 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 6. Yep, let's go with that. But again, we're going to have that happen after we get the other ones. All right, we have a javelin thrower, which we're going to bring up. Because we have to defend this outpost until we attach it to this, which is still going to be a while. La Venta gained a population. Yay! It also converted that population directly into a military unit. We actually need roads, don't we? We've got a pretty long empire here. We haven't figured out roads yet. That's the wheel. We'll get it. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. Now, money? Money will get us an Era Star. How close are... Yeah, we're close to money. I kind of do want somebody... Some more science here, though. My science is 16 per turn. My money's 28. So let's take this guy off money and put him on science. How are we doing population-wise here? I'm starting to need science now. The wonders are kind of ridiculously powerful. Some of them feel too powerful, but I guess we will find out. Alright, our javelin throwers are coming. I'm just going to have these guys chill here on the outpost. See, this says 5 district fortification from district, right? So that tells me outposts are already fortified. So when you look at the Hittites, and I wish it would let me see the lower eras here. I know I can go here and look at them. But when you see that the Hittites have a special outpost... Oh, it doesn't even say what it does here. I can't... Doesn't even give me the tooltip. Ay, ay, ay. NA effects there. Not even if I hover over it here. Where is it? Nope. It only sees it if you can see the Hittites in the culture window. Then you're good. Otherwise, you can't see anything about them. You don't get to know. Sorry, you don't know what the Hittites' special abilities are. God damn it. We have little roads here, but the roads don't actually do anything yet until we get that wheel figured out. So now we have one army composed of some scouts and some javelineers. Which one did we just get? Oh, we got our Aesthete Star, finally. Can we get another one? No, we have to get twice as much influence. I don't think we're going to get that before the end of the era. A game of prophecy. Now, here's where we have to pay attention. How the hell does this thing have so many districts already? Oh my god. It has 3 districts. How did you build those? These guys want me to give liberty and collectivism. It'll make their assimilation cost less. Even though right now, it costs like so little. It's so weirdly little. It might be a bug. So what that means is I will probably want to go with overlook this and get some liberty. The capital has a little tiny bit of extra penalty for stability. Now, I kind of want to come get rid of these stupid deer and stuff. Get this sanctuary out of the way, but I think I can do that later with other military units when I build them. So 3 and 6. This desperately needs to grow its population. This one is growing okay. We could probably build a military unit out of this one. Just to get it started. And then maybe a pottery workshop somewhere in between there. And then consider this and this. Well, you know, this one's no good until we get at least one more farmer quarter. So then we can build this. And it'll be very, very, very valuable for that capital growth. Irrigation has been researched, which is going to be very valuable here in Leventa. because that is +2 food on every river tile that we have exploited. So let's count them up, because god damn it, I really hate counting them up, but I have to find out. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. No, not 12. That one's not counted. 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 20. No, I don't. 24. How is it that one of these buildings can give me an extra 4, 6, or maybe 8 food at most, and this one gives me 24? That is stupidly broken. Oh, god damn. No, they didn't even take a second. Like, I've only been playing this game for like 12 hours, and I can find all of these things that are wrong with it. It makes me crazy. I don't know about you guys. Darth Gnome, it's of course it should have been in a beta. It's a 4X game. They cost too much to make. It takes too long to make them properly because they're too complicated. And so they release them in order to make money so that they can continue making them. I don't really begrudge them. The developers have no choice. It's the only way that they get published, is you have to release them early. Uh-oh. These guys are coming. Let's see if we can get a treaty with these guys now. Because they are very mad. They have ongoing demands. You know what? I could force... Okay, let's check out what this army is first before we... It's not that bad. It's not that good. It's not a good army. So let's go ahead and refuse their demand and try to defuse this situation. If we refuse their demand, they'll get the option to either withdraw the demands or... they declare war on me. So we just gotta make your choice.
There's just no way to make
Oh
it
shit.
work.
They said war. Okay. Well then. The Harappans declared war. That's unexpected, I have to say. Oh, there they are. Can we hire these guys? Oh, we absolutely can hire them, right? No, they're a young empire. Maybe I can hire these guys. I could. This is a defending army. What about these guys? That's a completely different faction. What? So they haven't spawned an army that I can hire, I think is what it comes down to. That would have been nice. Okay, well, in the meantime, I better start building more military guys, and I do have them queued up over here for what it's worth. I might queue them up over here as well. I would like to hire you. Please form a town. You can give an independent people one of your outposts and they'll turn it into a city for you. I don't know if that's a good idea. Is it a better foundation than Civ 6? I would say yes. I feel like I could fix a lot of the problems in this game by modding it. And there's supposed to be mod tools that are supposed to be really good coming eventually. Your armies force themselves through the gates only to be greeted by a grisly sight. We didn't... Attracted battle for Urkies. What? Why did we fight a battle for... What are you talking about? I think that event should not have popped up here. Urkies. I don't even see Urkies. What are you talking about, Willis? You know, I don't know how much this is going to cost, so I'm going to wait. Oh, this is bugged. I hate that this is bugged. Look at this whole interface. It's bugged. Some reason they have 100% kinship with us, which makes no sense because I'm not directly ideologically aligned with them. And it has nothing listed down here like it did 10 seconds ago. Maybe it'll fix itself here. Okay, I guess we attack down the hill at them, and they run away.
Over this way.
So we'll keep that protected. So the other thing I do like about this game is the person who declares war is the one who's got the timer on them. And depending upon how far away they are, it might be a bigger timer. You can't just declare war with somebody across the map just to screw with them. So they've got a -1 because they were the aggressing faction, so they have an impetus to end the war by actually attacking me. If they don't attack me, I just win the war as the defender. But they also have a -2 because their proximity to me is pretty far away compared to what it might otherwise be. I think that means that we have nothing but like outposts and like administrative centers between us. Our cities are not directly on top of each other. Now, I can't propose a white peace. You can only propose a white peace if both sides had grievances, which is an interesting thing, and I don't know that I like that necessarily. All right. We are at 5 stars. If we can get some kills here during this war, what do we need? We need 5 more kills. Unfortunately, only 4 of them are near me. Let's hit them again. And I think right now, they're still, like, having run away, so they can't retreat this time. We'll have the high ground, and they're stuck on a river. So let's see. If I put these guys up here. And I think I'll be on the river as long as I get the high ground. That might be a better play. Let's see where they deploy. So now this space is actually fortified. And I kind of want to attack it, you know, but... So I'm going to send this guy actually up onto the cliff. It's a perfect place for Javelineers. Because the thing about Javelineers is they're ranged, but they're not allowed to shoot at things they can't see. So you can only see things if there's a clear path between you and the target. They also have a shorter range than normal, I think. But if I put them up on this cliff, they can just throw javelins down on them, and it'd be brutal. Now, the enemy has tree cover. I don't actually see the woods there, but it looks like they do have the woods icon. Must be crappy woods. But we have all the benefits from being on high ground, so we're still going to do some brutal damage to them. Now, get him! Yeah! And I can't do the same thing, can I? Damn. Crap, these guys are not in a good spot. Now, they're an ambusher, so they're stronger when they are on forest tiles. Too bad we're not in a forest here. And if I attack down here, we get the penalty for being on the river, but... Oh, God. Their runners are better than our scouts. That's true. That's right. This isn't the warband that we have here. So what I'm going to do is this and this. It sucks that we're on the river, but it's great that we're up the hill. And then we'll end the round. See if they attack us or not. Oh, no! They went after my Javelineers, those jerks! Javelineers can fall back to the woods, at least. Why don't they just go straight there? Why do they travel all the way around? I do not know. Now, they can attack at range here, which is perfect. Look how much damage they do. Really good damage, because they have bonus combat strength being in favored terrain. Damn. These guys are trapped on this river. These guys can attack here, right? No? They can't see? Oh, that sucks. Can these guys run around here? I think if they go here, they can see.
Off we go.
Oh, they only have a 1 tile. Oh, God, that's terrible. Oh, we did do well there. Okay, end the round, see what happens. These guys are on a river, which sucks, but they do have the defensive bonus. It wasn't enough. My guys in the trees will be able to hit them again pretty hard. See, this is another thing. You remember how I said I wanted to lower the movement speed of these guys? They can run all the way around and attack over there, and that kind of breaks the combat.
Over this way.
All right, we got one of them too.
No mercy.
All right, so far, They're coming at me now. Oh, we got them too. Oh, we got them all. Holy crap. Just barely. That was terrible terrain for us to start a combat on, though. I didn't realize how bad it was because of all the rivers that we had these nice high grounds, but they were all rivers, which give you a penalty if you're on them, period. I wish there was a better way to represent that. Like the first time you move on to a river tile, then you could have the penalty. But otherwise, you shouldn't have a penalty. I don't know. Back to the rivers and things like that, anyway. 53 turns to build the Stonehenge. That's going to take a while until we can get both cities working on it. Oh my god, that's with my capital working on it? Okay, I take it back. We're going to have to put that down at the end of the list. Especially now that we're at war. It just can't be a high priority. Sorry, guys. Plus, apparently it assumes that we have like 6 makers' quarters already. Which we do not. Wow, plus 13 if we go over here. Kind of surprised by that. Why is this plus 13? Plus 1 from districts, yes. And then we've got 3, 6, 9, 12. Oh, because we're not exploiting this right now, but we could be. This would only add 3, 6, 9. Plus those 2. I don't know where it gets 12 then. Oh, because this would get an extra 1. 13. We're going to do this one. And we're going to put that further up the list. The Hittites have a war support of 80. Whoa, wait, the Hittites are attacking me too? Uh-oh. Oh, they have an encampment. That's weird. And I can't hire this one still. I would like to hire it, but I can't. This is still broken? Really? Oh, no. I hate that. Sometimes those independent peoples get really broken. We did get these produced, so we do have bonuses from there. Yeah, now we're at war with 2. I don't have any grievances against them. They don't have any grievances against me, but they're warlike, so they were just able to declare war regardless. So now, I think I need walls on La Venta. And that needs to come before Stonehenge, for sure. Alright, well, since this independent people seems to be broken, and we can't... Oh, it's not broken anymore. We can get this as a 3rd city right now. I think we do it, because we'll pick up the defenders too.
An independent people has been added to your empire.
And it cost an atrociously small amount. So now I can attach this immediately. There we go. Now this being on the doorstep of the Hittites is absolutely getting walls right now, first thing. It's going to take too long, which sucks. Why would you build a market quarter there? See, the game seems to be designed such that market quarters would be a good thing to build, but it's not. It's a terrible thing to build most of the time. Like, this should be a farmer's quarter, because it's on a prairie. Market quarters only make sense on crappy territory like dry grass. If market quarters also exploited things around them besides, like, or gave bonuses to be... I don't know. I don't know how you fix market quarters. I'm going to have to think about it. Either way. We've got the beginnings of actually a pretty good army here. It could use, like, a Javelineer and another warrior. Hey, isn't that what I'm building? I'm building a Javelineer and another warrior. Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and put the flood irrigation on a later thing. There we go. That's perfect. So the next 2 guys we get will be able to build this into a real army. These guys kind of need something else, so... Oh, God, I hate... Well, let's get the money off of here and help this. Let's build 1 more warrior and put him up here, too. Market quarters are good around ports, that's fine. But, like, when you can only build so many districts because of your stability situation... Market quarters, I've never needed money. Look at this. These guys cost 1 and 3. I have a decent sized army. It could be 3 times bigger than it is right now, and I still wouldn't really be hurting for money. That's the problem. Early upkeep is really low. Later upkeep is really high. Or maybe not really high, I'm not sure, but I did see some bugged upkeep in the late game. And you're right, market quarters are better around luxuries. At least you would think so. Do luxuries, artisans' quarters count for those adjacency bonuses? They should, but when you hover over an artisan's quarter, it doesn't say counts as a market quarter when it comes to adjacency bonuses, so I don't freaking know. I'm pretty sure it did in the beta, but that's all I can remember. Now, these guys are just going to chill here defending this city. And you know what else I need now to worry about is the technology or organized warfare. That seems pretty valuable, because we need to be able to reinforce our stuff. Oh, okay. So what are we getting first? We're researching the wheel, which will allow us to get a chariot if we were able to get copper, which we can't. There is another problem with... We talked about the problem with luxury resources and the way that they stack. It doesn't really... It just allows you to break the game by buying a lot of them. However... Uh-oh. He's coming back. Maybe I need to get these guys over here to help. Or at least give them the warrior that I have here. Or... Yeah, that should work. This, I really need to buy that out as soon as possible. So these guys should go in here. I know there's a big army coming up over here. I just saw it. Where'd it go? Oh, it's right there. I can see it through the fog of war. Thanks, game. Oh, and now it's bugged. Oh, we chased him away. That's good. See, it's got... the terrain is bugged. Oh, no! We probably can reload the game and fix that. Let's go ahead. F5, F9. Haven't seen a Civ game with a quick save, quick load option before. Those damn Hittites. Next things is the Philistines, and then there goes the neighborhood. That's true. Alright, I'm going to try to play fast here and see if I can get in the next era in the next few minutes, because it's about time I call it for the day. And I like these to be one era per episode as much as I can. But we'll see if that's the case today. Oh, he ran over there. Come back. I killed you. I kill you! And he runs away because he knows he can't stop me. Like, if these guys had walls, I would feel much better. Because I'm defending from 2 fronts here and I only have 1 army. That's going to change eventually, but right now, that's all I got. And I don't have the ability to back my armies up with each other. So if I had reinforcements, they wouldn't be able to join a battle until I can get organized warfare. I don't know where they went, but I think I have to go around here. These rivers really get in my way. It's why I wanted to get the wheel so that I could get these roads. And the roads are doing their job. They're just not quite where I need them to be. I need this to have roads on it. Alright, we finally have an extra dude. So let's send him up immediately. At least our science production is coming in pretty fast here. Yes, it is. Hey, a scientist star. How close are we to these other stars? Not very close. Oh crap. They coming in with 1 guy, huh? Just their own scout. got the city on my side here. And this is the one thing that somebody's pointed out. The fact that the flags are not... I should be able to place the flag anywhere within my deployment zone. Because I'm inside my outpost. This is what I want to defend. But if I stay in here, he can just go take this flag and win the battle. Even though the flag should be directly inside my deployment zone. So he can just walk around and go for the flag if he wanted to. The good news is I've got that fortification advantage, and he's going to be in the river. So even though he's got... Why does he have so many bonuses? I have 13, 1 from veterancy and 2 from the event. He's got a civic. Okay, professional soldiers. Yeah, I know about that one. I forgot about that one. The cultural trait, lust for war, and he's got that narrative event. And he's got the combat strength for empire difficulty. Now, this is what I wanted to check out here. No, I want to click on my... This. Is he really frozen? Army's locked into a battle and cannot move before the battle's resolved. Okay, but... they're not able to participate in the battle. Damn it, that's not good. Take one more round here. The narrative event from the early game... Shouldn't I be getting a fortification bonus for that? I guess not. It says fortified when you hover over it. See, 15 district fortification from administrative center? But I didn't seem like I got that bonus. So I wanted to check out. Oh my god. The narrative event early in the game gives you a +2 to every unit for the rest of time? Are you flipping kidding me? This game has so many problems. So many freaking problems. I can't believe that. That is insane to me that somebody would let that through. I was totally happy if that was a +2 to just the tribes and maybe even expand it to the scouts that the tribes turn into. And maybe even all types of scouts if there's like a recon line. Sure. Make sure they're weaker than normal units, but allow that to happen. I'm okay. But every single unit with a +2 is absurdly broken. Even every single unit with a +1 is absurdly broken for just a simple event that you get at the beginning of the game that not everybody even necessarily gets. Alright, so we kill that guy. We didn't lose anybody. We gained some gold. And actually, that we should be military. 6 of 9. So we need to kill 3 more guys. Maybe the rains will cease. Oh, we gotta pay some money to make sure that the floods don't kill everybody. That one happens a lot.
With 5 farmers' quarters, this one city must have more farmers than most empires.
And that is another example of obvious unfinishedness. I don't have a city with 5 farmers' quarters. I have 5 farmers' quarters spread out over 3 cities. So yeah. I guess I could go on the offense against the Hittites and knock out this thing here. Because if they do start showing up down here, I could pay to build the palisades really quick. I just hope they don't arrive and then immediately put me under siege. You know what? I'm building that right now. There we go. Now we have actual walls and not just fences defending that city. We'll go ahead and torch this. And how much? We'll get 43. That's not much. It's worth a lot more if people are trading for it. That I've definitely noticed. Like, there was one where I was going to get 1,000 gold. Aha! Now we can get +1 combat strength.
It does seem logical that people shouldn't have to do a job unless they want to.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? So that's still happening.
Tell me about yourself.
Welcome. Let us speak honestly with each other.
And they obviously didn't put any... Like, nobody thought, hey, maybe during war they shouldn't say these nice, welcoming things. Shouldn't they be like, we will destroy you, or something that it doesn't fit the tone? Damn it! Every time I come across something that shows this game how unfinished this game is, it makes me mad. Because it's so close to being great. And by so close, I mean not very close at all, but...
I'd as soon see you bleed as speak.
Wait, he gains war support if I destroy his city's districts? Shouldn't it weaken? No! If I'm ravaging his land, it should cause him to want to give up. That's farting backwards, and that explains why so many people are pissed about the way the war support system works. I always assumed that if you were damaging their districts with ransacking and stuff and destroying their outposts, it should lower their war support. It shouldn't give them war support. Unless you're not at war, right? If you're not at war, yes, ransacking might generate war support. But if you're ransacking during a war, it indicates you're losing, and the populace is going to be angry at you for losing the war. Is this an outpost, or is that an administrative center? I don't know what I can do with that. Can I ravage that and find out what happens? I don't know. Keepers of the Creed. Let the ladies have this priesthood. This time. Next game, it'll be different. I can destroy this administrative thing. I think it'll make it an empty area. And I think they're going to get another bonus to their war support for it, which drives me crazy. Absolutely nuts. He's running away! Go get him! Oh no! Don't let him run away! No, see, he's getting away before I can get to him. Damn it. I did get organized warfare there. That was good. I'm actually close on agrarian stars. One more and we'll be able to end this here. Traveling along the roads there. So what do I go to next? That's a good question. Fishing actually will give us harbors, and harbors could be good. The whole actually doesn't give you anything just as a territory, but... Big bays, yeah. Yeah, let's go with that harbor option, because I think it can give us a lot of food. Are they assaulting the city? Or are they just attacking me personally? Let's find out. I have the two guys here. They have the one scout. God damn it, the AI is so dumb. Urgh. Another thing. It's another thing, guys. It's possible that narrative event with the +2 is supposed to last X number of turns and they just broke it. Right? That's entirely possible. So, yeah, have fun attacking me inside this city, buddy. I don't understand why he's able to set up inside my city. That also drives... Can I talk about how that drives me freaking crazy right now? So now he's getting the benefit of the fortification? God damn it. Click, there we go. Yeah, I knew he was going to do that, but these guys only have like a 1 range. So. But now I'm getting closer to a militarist star as well. See, he wasn't sieging the city, which is why he was able to, like, set up inside my borders, which, god damn, that makes no sense.
Over here.
Well, I don't like that he's coming over here. I guess I could set up an outpost in here. It's pretty cheap, and it honestly doesn't have a... It's not a great territory, but I could just attach it and get some free stuff, basically. Gives us stability penalty and others, but... Yeah, this is a pretty bad territory, except that it does have some good luxury resources. So now, go over here, and let's check out...
Talk, though I'd as soon see you bleed us.
See, he gained 10 from losing the administrative center. That's wrong. That's so wrong. God damn it. Why is it backwards?
Let's go. We'll wait here.
Alright, this city needs something to do. Well, it should probably have my Olmec head. Before I stop being Olmec. And we should probably build it in the other territory that's connected as well before I stop being Olmec. That way I'll have the Olmec head in every territory. This is the Olmec head, right? Yeah. Is that going to screw us over on stability? It kind of will. So maybe we also throw this in there. Except that my production is so damn weak. So maybe we start with this. Yes. Production, Olmec head, stability, Olmec head. It's not great, but it is what it is. People of San Lorenzo have converted to Hittites' polytheism. Unacceptable. Where's San Lorenzo? Down here? Oh no! What about my religion? You bastards. I never got to build the damn Stonehenge to help my religion spread. I have all these other things that I have to do. Alright, well we're gonna go ahead and add Stonehenge to that. And then this to that as well. And just let it start happening, because I don't think I have much time left for that. And I think I've got enough warriors to win these wars. There's our agrarian star. Fishing is researched.
Off we go.
What do these guys have? Oh, we can crush them with this. Oh, they ran away. They bravely ran away. Can we chase them? No, of course we can't. Why could we chase them? God damn it.
Off we go.
How many more militarists? I need to kill 2 things. Come back, you cowards! Come back! I've got a big military now compared to what I had. Masonry could be valuable. I'm gonna try to get one more of these stars here. We are in, wow, 6th place. And at least 3 empires have already advanced. But, like, I'm close to the district star. That's happening very soon. And I'm close to the tech star. That's definitely happening soon. And I might get 3 more stars. That'll catch up quite a bit. And by the way, aesthete star's also close. So yes, just a couple more turns. No, come back! We're not done fighting you!
Over this way.
Damn it, they had reinforcements come in, and now I have to attack them across a river. I do have chariots, though. What do they have? They have just those runners that are oddly strong. 15, 15, 15, 20. And I've got... Oh, I've only got the 1 chariot. Yeah, you know what? This is a retreat. We had the wrong terrain there. I really do want to kill 2 things, but that was the wrong way to do it. We're bringing up reinforcements. That'll have to be enough. Oh. Okay. Come at me, bro. Again, the AI, super dumb, comes at me with 1 scout. And dies. All right, so we can maybe go 8-4 and win that fight, and then we're basically ready to go with regards to the next era. I know there's a deed for getting to writing first. I'm not even going to fight this. I've got a huge advantage here, and I don't think I have a chance of losing too many troops. Hopefully I'll only lose, like, the scout guy that I have here. Even though he's veteran, he can't really promote to anything. So, there's the era star I was looking for. I only lost 1 unit, and it was the scout guy. Okay, that's exactly what I would have tried to sacrifice had it been my own guy. Okay. So, oh, that's bleeding. He's bleeding.
Make it quick.
Now, oh, that was the one that I just killed. That's why that -8. Here's another problem. That was a fairly big battle. He lost 8 war support. We also killed 1 of his units earlier. He lost 8 war support. Like, the results of the battle and the effects that it has on war support should scale based on the units, the number of units that die, essentially. Or some other, you know, maybe their strength or something like that.
Let's go.
Okay, so we're ready to choose our next faction. 1, 2, 3 have already beat us there. That's it? I thought 4 of them did. Nope, only 3. The rest of us are actually ready to go. We're reaching it at exactly the same time. So let's look at the map and see where we are. We could actually attach this outpost right now, so it's just at least doing something. It's not ready to be its own thing yet, so it might as well help me. And I've got 3 cities. I'm going to be able to deal with that relatively soon. Do I stay for a couple more turns to get this? The aesthete I already got. I'm getting... This has got to be happening. And that's already done. Yeah, if I'm 1678, that's going to be happening like very soon. I don't choose just yet. Not just yet. I just need to build 1 more district somewhere. Well, finish the granary, I guess, damn it. +1 city cap or bonus stability in the capital. Bonus stability shouldn't just be on the capital. It should be on all cities. And it should be like +10 or something. But, because this is like this is a wide versus tall situation. So maybe +15 on all cities or +1 city cap. That would be a decent choice, I think. Or something to that effect. But the capital already has a +50. Giving it another +25 makes it absurdly superior to every other city that you have, which is a problem. Ugh. It can be better than all your other cities. I'm okay with it having some benefits, but it shouldn't be absurdly better. We'll take the stability. It's just a better pick right now. I'm going to get the extra city cap in a second. We can change it to city cap later if we really want to. And right now, the penalty for being over the city cap is not big. So we need to make sure that a district is getting constructed, right? That's what we try to do. Let's pay this to make it go faster. And now, Maker's Quarter's 9 turns away. Damn it, that's too far. This is 13, but it needs to... Oh, no. I can't advance if I want these Olmec heads to be built. I should have built them. Mistakes were made. Here's how you get around that, and oh god, I hate that it's a thing. I spend 1 turn building this Olmec head, 1 turn building that Olmec head, and then they're both locked in. Now I spend this turn to build this Olmec head. Oh, they came after me, huh? Instant. There we go. I lost 3 units? Come on! I mean, they were weakened, I guess, but that's still annoying. Well, that's a bad army. That's not good. We still wiped him out. At least there's that. There's the merchant star we were waiting on. We still need the district star. We don't need all these... Oh, God, I can't get him out of it. Civics osmosis. Oh, no. I guess. I'm not going to give us stability penalties for that.
Why do you come here to waste my time?
That's better. All that and all I get is 500 reparations? I mean, I know I didn't take any of their cities or something, but 500 seems awfully low. I guess it probably scales with the era. It'd probably be more like 1,000 otherwise. But we didn't have any demands as part of this. They attacked me and then surrendered and said, okay, fine, have 500 gold. 500 gold won't even build me back one of those units that you cost me, you jerk.
I can tell you that our gratitude is boundless.
Now,
I have no choice. I must bow.
how about a trade treaty? Look at that. See? See? I can buy your
have a
saffron and we can all be
proposition
friends.
for you. I think you'll like it.
Oh my god, plus 4 food on farmers' quarters.
This I
You
like.
have
Scale
created-
is bad.
I can
It
only
breaks
say
everything.
That this is excellent.
Did they also surrender in the same turn? No, but they're bleeding.
Let alone trust.
I didn't have any grievances against them, so I'm not going to get much from them either. I like cats over ferrets. I'm going to stick with cats. Ferrets are smelly.
Debate and discussion are not the pastimes of the idle, but the actions of thinkers and movers who will touch every aspect of civilization.
Oh, we met a new people. We have some decent luxuries to trade, and I want some money, so I'm going to accept this, I believe, since I don't have any good reason to
Your
fight them.
proposal makes good sense. I say yes.
I'm going to see if she wants to share maps. Yeah, I'll take it for
The
75.
impressive
That'll help me
Lara
learn
position,
about where she is.
science,
The thing is, you
and
can't do
culture.
trading if you don't share
The
maps.
only
You know what I
worrying
noticed
thing
that?
about them are those
Because if you don't see the enemy, the luxuries of the other faction, then you can't actually get a trade route to them. I'm almost out of technologies. Wow, actually I've produced a lot more technologies than I thought. But I'm stuck in this stupid thing because I'm still waiting for this thing, and I don't think I should. I think I should be done. Because, yep, a lot of other factions just beat me to it. So now I don't want to wait. There's 2 other factions that could, at least one other, that could advance real soon. So I'm going to go ahead and figure out, do I want the Carthaginians get a special harbor, which is good. I was thinking about trying to get the Greeks, because I could do really well with some science right now, but I'm actually way ahead on science, so maybe I don't want the Greeks. That actually seems to be the case. If you're way ahead on science, you don't want to choose a science empire because it's harder to get new technologies. That's why science should be based on the amount of science you make, not on the amount of technologies you research. The Romans getting extra slots in their army is very nice. Lowers the army upkeep. They get extra stability and influence, which helps them be tall rather than wide, which doesn't really go very well with their stupid thing. It makes them super powerful if they go wide. The Celts get very good food quarters. I think I'd like a builder, but it looks like that's not an option here. They've already taken the Mayans. Damn. I don't think I want to transcend, do I? I don't think so. Bonus money on every tile that produces money. We don't have that many producing money. Bonus money per territory is under the religious influence. This could give me a boost to my faith. I think the Carthaginians might be very good because industry per adjacent coastal water. I do have quite a decent amount of coastal... How much coastal water do I have? Is it more than 2? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to coastal territories. Now, this one doesn't have a lot of coastal territory on it, but it does have some. So I think the Carthaginians are a good pick. Because they also get reduction in buyout cost. That might make it actually good. And it counts as every kind of quarter. The Cothan is very good. And the fact that we will then be a merchant... No, we're not in a good place for a merchant. Maybe it's the Celts after all and just grow the pops. We did... And the Romans would be great if I had a lot of confidence that I would be able to expand with them. You know what? We're going to try it. I always love the Romans. Let's do it. So yeah, I did climb up to second place, getting all of those stars at the end of here, so it was worth staying in this lower era. And now we're going to advance. And who is above us? It's the brown... These guys here, we're about to win a war against them.
Lack of tact, have you?
The Harappans, they transcended into the classical era, so they didn't pick a faction, that's why. But as the Romans, we can go to war with them and expand fairly easily. The other thing I wanted to do is this. I wanted to do that one more time because I think my culture was getting pushed out. At least over here it was, but oh well, can't be done. Nothing can be done about it. All right. So we're going to,
listen to this.
The Greeks. Give me money. They refused. Okay, well that sucks. Give me money?
You might.
I can go for that.
Damn it. I should have just let them do it. Maybe they would have paid money.
Things change.
All right,
Even
maybe the
leaders and empires.
Marians.
I have a proposal for you.
Give me money. No. Everybody wants money. What is that? We found some science just living in the desert there. Okay. Whatever you say. End turn, we are now the Romans.
As urban centers grow, both ideas and sewage are generated at a record pace. Arts and sciences flourish as military tactics and mathematical equations become as coveted as physical goods. Empires struggle to control these intangibles, however, as some might trouble their stability.
I love it. I love those
Though
little...
the Romans did indeed appreciate intangibles, I might be tempted to say that their most famous creation was their legions, which were very tangible indeed.
Problem is we don't have any iron resource, at least. There is iron, actually. We do have some iron. But do the Praetorian Guard need more than one iron? It's way over here, too. Like, you don't get access to the Praetorian Guard until the very end of the Classical Age. It does only require one iron, though. And it's just like a better version of a swordsman, if I remember correctly. These are 26. And these guys are 30. But they also have the rear attack applies whenever an ally's adjacent. That's actually real good. That's so good. All right, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll be back maybe tomorrow morning at 10:30 Eastern Time. Yeah, let's do it then. See you then. Have a good one.